Welcome to Conversations with Vin and Sori, where we talk about anything from politics to food to human nature in general.
And religion. And me.
And me. Okay, I have to make sure that this is public.
It's private. Okay, so that thing in New York, that show in New York, that's confirmed we're going.
Yes. Okay.
Refresh.
What is, yeah. I was like, what is the problem here?
I think we're good. Hey.
Hey. Can you hear us?
It's JJJ.
The man, the myth.
The legend.
The
legend. Oh, you have actual ice. Yep. Okay, good. Addison, what's up?
Sweet.
I don't think we've heard Addison. It's Pony!
Hi, Pony.
Jay, yes, you were first. Leah's in the house.
That's right. Guys, it's going to get a little loud because I'm getting my ice and water.
All my friends are here. I'm waiting for Lilo and Ben to come and insult me. It's going to be good.
And call you a boob.
Call me a boob.
Sorry for my past super chats. Didn't know they had to be so short.
Hope you guys are having an amazing night. Thanks, Wesley. Wait,
Oh,
there's
you
a
did?
Gia video?
How come we didn't see this?
I have to look at this Gia video. Don't react to Striper. I'm early again. You are early, Channel. I don't know if I'm saying it. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Fireside.
All right, honey.
What's up, babe? What's up, babe?
Let me strike a deal with you. I need water. This water has ice in it, but it also has an open top, which more than likely will get dumped on this computer we just got back and fixed. So would you trade with me so I can have the bottle?
Yeah.
Thank you. You're a good man.
Yeah.
Is it that you care for me or you care for the wallet? Or both?
Gia is adorable. Fashion. Hello from Chile. That's love right there. Right. It's also manipulation. Because you asked in front of a room full of people.
Honestly,
no way for
I
me to say
preferred
no.
the cup with all the ice in it. The ice cubes are even made with spring water. Honey.
What's up, babe?
We're back.
What kind of heresy is coming up today? I have no idea. The only thing I do know is I will be blamed for sure. What's up, Pony? Her and Mini Sori. You stinkers. Actually, no, just kidding. You pronounced it right. Good. Regards from Sao Paulo, Brazil. What's up? Vin and Sori are global, y'all.
Yeah.
What you know about that?
And you know because our shirts have been there.
It's true. We got shirts in Brazil. I'm new to the village. What's up, Chris?
Chris Maddox.
Can you put the computer a little bit
That's
closer?
what I was doing right now.
Yeah, I knew something was like different. Ah, there we go.
Better?
Okay, now we're in game. Now we're in the game.
Leah. I love how everyone says, don't talk politics. I'd rather just shout random song requests at you.
Your kill pop reaction was awesome. Good.
Yeah, who did you side with?
Appreciate that, Mr. Torres.
From Costa Rica.
Hey, Mr. Torres, how did you find us? And what are we talking about today, ladies and germs?
Jeez, Jay.
Yes, Jay, I did like the meme.
What was it?
Memes actually are my favorite.
Oh, I love memes.
I love memes to death. What's up? Hey, Ian, what's up, buddy? Yes, Eric, we're absolutely live. For sure.
You know, Jay, I saw one with the ... dots on it. Is that the one?
Yeah. Were you throwing out a challenge with the Noam Chomsky conversation? No. Challenge to who? Who would I be challenging about that?
I think the meme was on our Facebook.
What do
the
you
Vin
mean?
Sori Village.
Hey, David. What's up, big homie? So what are we talking about today?
Skipped right over your what? Ben. Brandon. Have you heard of Mushroom Head? Yeah, you know what's weird, Chris? There's like what is it, like a documentary on Netflix or something? And whenever we go to put a movie, Vin always hovers over it. He's like, I want to see this. But I don't encourage him to click onto it because I want to watch something that's a thriller. So I'm like, keep going.
Horn.
Hi, BM fan.
BM fan, what's up, big homie?
Well,
I talk about BM fan at least once a week.
Yeah, yep. It's true.
Surprisingly, I don't have any political topics for you. It's been kind of calm lately.
There's plenty of politics in our reaction for tomorrow. Was that the main stage or was that the underground? The underground.
Don't use the Patreon app. It has many bugs. Yeah, Sori talks about that all the time.
It's so annoying.
Hey, it's Elio Mike.
Because you know what happens? I talk to somebody and then like if I don't respond back on that thing, you can make like a bunch of different threads talking to the same person, so you can't just scroll up and see what you've said to them. And I hate that because I'm always second guessing myself. Did I thank that person? Did I talk to that person? And there's no way of going back to check it.
I'm working Sunday. I'll miss a chunk of tomorrow, sadly.
Man.
That's terrible. Like, I really wanted you there, my guy. No, you're not late, Racing Vids.
Nope, we just got here.
The Eminem controversy. There's a controversy with Eminem?
Oh, well, that explains.
Yeah.
Some things.
Smart. I tip my hat to the big homie.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Ian.
Aw, thank you.
Thank you so much, Wesley. Appreciate y'all. I didn't have a bad experience with Rush. That's the thing. Like,
No, it wasn't a bad...
I loved that conversation that we had. I thought it was great. We might have had a bad experience with Rush. Whoa,
Anthony. The live version is best.
Love you, Anthony. I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Part of me wants to just do live ones all the time, because then you get the raw. This is what the band sounds like, but you don't have the same quality as you would in a studio because it's a controlled environment. So I'm kind of I go back and forth on it.
No, Pony. This is not where you exit the conversation.
Oh my gosh!
Don't do that. I loved your Mother North reaction.
Thanks,
Hey, Tina! Somebody said that BM fan was a new Alec. There can only be one Alec.
Yeah.
But I do like BM fan a lot.
Yeah.
I do like him. It's true. I love the Blackfire videos. Who is the next interview? No comment. I saw your reaction to Corn's daddy.
Can you? I always
AD
feel
Ramirez.
like I mess up the names.
Ramirez.
Thank you.
No, Daniel, you're not talking to emptiness. Pony, talk to me.
Tina, lots of love back.
Oh, it's Martinez Joe. Help me out, bruh. Will you ever review any Christian bands from the 80s and 90s? Did you ever listen to anything from the Christian metal scene? No.
Ramirez. It's Alex, but it was taken. So yeah.
Alex who?
I don't know. I don't know if it's
Probably Alex Ramirez.
Yeah, so he had to put AD because Alex Ramirez was already taken.
200K, babe, for the Corn Daddy review.
Jeez,
You kind of made that. That was historical. You kind of pretty much did that yourself.
Yep. You said one day, because all my crying.
Yeah. Matthew Winter.
Aw, thank you, Matthew.
Love you, buddy.
That was an interesting number. People usually do like.
Appreciate that, Tazzy. Please do
Drive safely,
an interview with Glenn Benton of Deicide. I would love to do an interview with Glenn Benton of Deicide. We should talk to him.
Oh, did you see Tazzy said, a nice haircut?
Yes. What's up with what, Death Fan?
Oh, wow. Did you see Ian?
Yep.
I just wanted to say that after the last fireside, several people reached out to me. People's kindness takes my breath away sometimes. I love humankind. That's so cool.
Do I think Donald Trump will be impeached? What do you mean by impeached? Like impeached the way that Clinton was? Or like impeached the way that they were threatening to impeach Nixon? Like impeached like out of there? As I Lay Dying. Yeah. I've listened to As I Lay Dying. There just hasn't been a lot of requests for Christian type bands. Of course, if we did more Christian bands, there'd be more requests. So it's kind of a chicken or the egg thing.
Mm-hmm.
Impeach isn't out of here. No. Hell no. There's no way that's going to happen to Trump. The only way...
I think he's going to get reelected.
Well, yeah. I mean, if the leftists keep doing what they're doing, he's going to get reelected. Yeah, Dream Theater is on the short list. I know. Where's Lilo?
I know. She always makes it more interesting. Oh, I didn't know Demon Hunter was Christian band.
Yeah, you did.
I did?
Yeah.
I did? How did I know that? Did we already do one?
Because we had a discussion about it. And people were saying, this is a really good Christian band that you should hear.
Yeah, but there's just too much. There's too much information coming at me.
That's true.
Thank you for KY Sportsman.
Creed, that's interesting. I know. Lilo, I love Lilo. Creed, I haven't heard a lot of requests for Creed, so that should be interesting. You mentioned slave labor in your next video. Is that going to happen? Yes, soon. Jonathan, leftists, I fear, are perpetuating another Trump administration.
Somebody said you smell your fingers in every single reaction. That's not true, is it? Do you do that?
I have no idea what they're
Oh,
talking
you do
about.
This or something. You put your finger on your nose.
Please, God, no Creed. What's up, Jay Jackson? Creed are terrible, which is why they don't get requested. No Creed, no Creed. Yeah. Say hello to Costa Rica. Hello, Costa Rica.
Hello.
Hello. Vin, that haircut has taken weeks off of you. I don't know whether to thank you for that, Tina. What were you saying about me before? Salutations. Please don't do... You might as well tackle Nickelback. Oh, Lord. People feel really emotional about Creed.
Yeah, I know, huh?
My guy Ben Webb's not here. Lilo's not here. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
We're going to have to shut down, guys.
Yep. See you guys. Hi from Honduras.
It seems like there's quite a few people from Brazil in here.
Do you believe in possession? Yes. Pony.
Arms wide open. I actually think I used to listen to that song.
Oh gosh, babe, don't please.
No, I'm writing it down so I can listen to it later because I'm pretty sure I liked it. But
we have got to do Sepultura. Good Lord. Chris Maddox, Vin, I have a question for you. Cool, AJ. I know a good barber. What are you doing?
Sepultura.
Sepultura. If we do Sepultura, it's got to be Roots. Bloody Roots. Roots! Ah, I see. We were at the Apple store, and they were talking to us about how to broadcast things from our TV. So that's working behind the scenes. Never you worry there.
Time to figure it out.
Please don't listen to Arms Wide Open.
No, I'm gonna personally listen to it.
Personally, do more Iron Maiden. I'll tell you something. We should do that clip. We should have done that clip trailer thing for the last thing that we did. The underground show tomorrow is gonna be bananas. The underground show tomorrow is gonna be bananas.
Yep. It's a long one too, so.
Yeah. You listen to rap, Vin? Once in a while, yeah. For sure.
I like it when you listen to rap. You're in certain moods, like depending on what you listen to is your mood.
It's true. Give us a hint.
Comfortably Numb Live is good.
A hint. Sori and I probably got into the most emotional disagreement we've ever had on cam. It's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Jesus.
Thrash metal riffs. He's kind of... Have you heard of country rap? Yes, I have. I've met a Satanist recently, and it's crazy his thought. He claims that Satan was the original creator and wanted humans to be free thinkers. God won the war. Yeah, I've heard that, it's a strange thing where the Satan character is like the nice liberator guy and God's mean. It's very interesting.
Ray Rogers, eating Cheez-Its and hanging with the sinners. Nice.
Okay.
Did you say thrash metal? You said I'm kind of what? Did you say anything about thrash metal?
I don't know. Oh, I did, and then I trailed off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of do that to kind of, to be mean.
Okay.
Where's Salty and Sparky? Well, we don't have Sparky anymore. No. Sparky's in the mail. Lavi is on the way.
No, he's not in the mail yet. I have to contact the person that wants him and set that up.
Ever read the Theology of St. Gregory of Nyssa? Yes. Would be interesting to include that in the discussion about hell. That's actually a very, very good point.
You know what? I don't know what this person's talking about. Will you plait the end of your beard?
Plait the end of your beard.
What's that mean?
When it grows longer. Like the Vikings?
Oh, I was like, not sure if that's what it meant, but that would actually
Okay,
be cool.
Stuart, we've done 2 Neabla Viscara songs. Which songs are you talking about, sir? That song is horrible. I don't know. I don't think you guys got the song. We love Shakespeare too. What's your favorite Shakespeare passage quote?
Here, you can have some. Iuska. Wow, Faith No More by Midlife Crisis.
Any extra thoughts after listening to Death Bells Omega's SMRC? I need suggestions for the best Opeth song. Are you serious, Pony? Don't tell me. Hey, it's the big...
Alex is here.
The big Alex Heff is here. Free will is free will, as most people look at it, is a complete illusion. For sure. People think that they're doing things because they chose to do it without factoring in the fact that there's a lot of external circumstances that guided that decision.
Mm-hmm.
Butcher babies. Never heard of that. Before. You need to answer me then. What do I need to answer, Pony? What's happening? Hey, LOL-cifer. I like LOL-cifer. Ben Webb is in the house.
Drew.
Lilo in the house.
Drew's like, natural science. Ah.
Oh my gosh. Is that Rush?
Mm-hmm.
We got all the heavy hitters now. We got Lilo in the house.
Oh, okay, cool. And we got Ben.
We got Ben. We got Dirk. We are
How come
straight.
Lilo and Ben got here at the same time?
I know Lilo and the KZ is. Yeah, how did Lilo and Ben? You know what? I'm starting to think.
We're starting to piece this shit together.
Starting to piece this shit together. They came in literally at the same time. How is that possible? I think they're the same person. I've been watching a ton of theist versus atheist debates lately. I'm stuck on them. What have you learned so far? I disagree with Sam Harris completely. I believe we do have a free will. Really? Really, Elio Mike? Did you freely choose to be born in America?
Oh, Leo. You
What?
are. She's like, yes, I'm not a heavy hitter.
Leah, you were with us from Leah, you're like the OG. She's the OG Vin and Sori person.
Leah's my favorite because she's the first person that stood up for me.
Oh, please.
Remember at the beginning?
Please.
I liked it.
Stop it.
It made my heart happy. I liked it. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, Hefner, do you think you freely cultivated your amazing charismatic personality and your amazing camera presence? I don't think so. You can get 10 million people. You get 10 million people and say, act like Hef. None of them have the free will to be able to do that. It's impossible. What's up, Gego?
Yeah,
Gallego?
I would actually respond to your messages whenever I'd see them come in.
That I don't agree with Christopher Hitchens or Sam Harris. You don't agree with them on what? What don't you agree with them on? Let's talk politics. I'm fine with talking politics. I just need to know what the thing is. Oh! Ariel Ruiz, we live in a simulation. Very possible. Hey, so what's the Eminem controversy? Is there an Eminem controversy? Right, Findo, you don't have the free will to do that. Maybe they want to keep it a surprise. It's very true. I do want to keep it as a surprise. What are we keeping as a surprise, babe? Do you know?
Maybe the thing tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
What we did.
We have a will, but I don't think it's free.
Somebody tell me what's going on with Eminem. I'm really curious.
Elio Mike, did you make the decision to have English be your dominant language? Is that a free decision you made?
Oh, he dropped a surprise album.
Oh, no shit. I agree with that, Ellie Gallego. I don't even agree with myself 4 months ago. Let's be honest. God makes Satan look like a choir boy in the Old Testament. I have no idea what you're talking about. I love me some Old Testament God. If Eminem was a feminist, he'd be a femininist. I don't agree with you 4 months ago either. Let's talk about election entanglement. Okay. Let's talk about it. Lilo, we're starting to figure out that you and Ben are probably the same person.
Yeah. We're starting to figure out.
Oh, I guess Eminem used a homophobic slur.
Oh, really?
I wonder when Hillary's finally get arrested. Leah, do you really believe that Hillary should be arrested? Like, literally? Do you really believe that should happen? I made it for the Eminem side. Genocide of the Canaanites says it all. What do you mean it says it all? It's kind of funny hearing Eminem trying to keep his high-pitched rapping voice when his voice has deepened with age.
Oh, really? I haven't heard enough of his
Yikes.
stuff to be able to.
Who did Cain marry when he went east of Eden?
It's a baby cucumber.
I've never understood why that's why is that a hard question? Who did Cain marry? Like, how is that a hard question?
Because the only ones that you hear about are Eve, and then they have 2 sons. So where are these other kids? Who's he going to marry?
Well, no, it doesn't say that they only had 2 sons.
Well, that's all that you hear about. And even still, that means he married his sister.
So?
They can hear me crunching.
Thanks, RG. Thrash metal. Is that an avocado? Hey, you answered. What's up, Emily? Hillary is a terrible candidate. And no, she won't go to jail. Yeah, I agree.
You guys got to watch Ill Mind of Hopskin 7. Have you heard of that? Hi, Peacecraft. I'm asking how tall you are.
Can we talk about do you mean Apocrypha, Pony? Vin and Sori, play BioShock. It's a great game about religion in a city under the city the rich built to survive, but it goes horribly wrong. That sounds extremely interesting.
It's a game?
Yeah, it's called BioShock.
What system is it played on? Or is that a weird question? Is it like a board game?
I don't know. How can Hillary, who
Lilo
the leader
Mike
of
is
a
here?
Elio Mike is here.
Elio Mike?
She was already investigated, Leah. You know good and well they're not going to arrest no Hillary Clinton.
Oh, old school fan. Did you send me that email? You need to send me that email and tell me what your address is.
So we can send you that stuff.
Yeah. vinandsori@gmail.com. And put old school in the title so I can find you. Or put Bible or something.
Okay, Xbox 360 BioShock. Is there a Xbox One version? Is there an Xbox One version of BioShock? Do you guys own metal shirts? Yes, we do own metal shirts.
Because we're loved.
Quit bitching about the 30,000 emails that Hillary deleted unless you're going to start calling Bush for the 20 million email his administration deleted. Well, that just means they should both be in jail. I hope Hillary runs again.
You're killing thrash metal because you didn't finish that sentence.
I know. I usually do that. I'll say something and I'll trail off.
Oh, I know. I hate it when you do
Hey,
that.
Tracy!
I'm like, what the heck?
Socialist Christian metal fans. Confusing. What's so confusing about that? Those are not contradictory ideas. Right now, I'm a socialist. Who knows? By the end of the... so we're bringing on Jamar L. Charles.
Have you heard of
I keep saying... Is that his name? Thomas. Jamar L. Thomas.
Yeah. Have you guys heard of a Christian author called Judah Smith?
Yes.
My Christian friend who I mentioned lent me a book called Jesus is to help me learn who he was.
That's
I want to learn who Jesus was. Read Book of John.
Judah Smith is legit. I like him. Trump is going to be a one-term president. I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be a one-term president. You know, I think all the Antifa people and all that are going to create another re-election. They're going to create just enough distractions for Trump to get reelected. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Socialism always ends in mass misery. I don't know about that. Please explain Noah. Did we all come from his family? Yes. I believe that.
Yes, we talked to Lindsay Schoolcraft.
I talked to her today, actually. Lindsay's my homegirl. Did Jesus learn all his stories from John the Baptist? I don't think so. Vin, do you know Majid Nawaz? I don't know him, but I do like him.
Cody, if you want... I don't know if you mean shirt. You said sauce. If you mean shirt...
Size.
Yeah, you can. You can get any size you want. Can you give them the details?
PayPal, Vin and Sori merch at gmail.com. And then you get... it's $25 for a shirt if you're in the U.S.
If you're outside of the U.S., you got to tack on an extra $15 for shipping. But just let me know the size that you need when you send the email.
If you're a believer, Abraham is your father. If you're not, Noah is your father.
I have a number of sizes right here on hand. Right in our room. Because we pay for it. If it's in the U.S., we just pay for the shipping. But the shipping outside of the U.S. was so expensive that we were not making barely... I think actually between the cost of the shirt and the cost of shipping it, we weren't making anything. We were probably losing money.
What?
They said, why is the shipping free in the U.S.? And I said, because the shipping was cheaper in the U.S. and we were able to just cover that. But outside the U.S., it's like $15 to ship it. Anywhere from 13 to 14 to 15 is what I've seen. So when you factor in the cost of the shirt and then $15 of shipping, if we paid for that too, we wouldn't even...
I know.
We just maybe even lose money on it. So.
It's cool though because, every small business starts losing money. So, I mean, we've given away so much free shit.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Did Jesus know sorcery to bring R2 to make fish and bread for the townspeople? I didn't get that one. I think it's a joke, but I'm too dumb to get it.
Before this channel, did you guys enjoy metal music? I didn't even listen to metal music. He did. No, of course he didn't eat any fruit today.
I won't stop talking about BioShock until Vin gets it.
My favorite type of jewelry, necklaces, etc. I like all kinds of different stuff. I got this shirt at Walmart and it came with this necklace. And I was like, that's different, but I kind of liked it. But I like stuff that looks like... I don't know. I like stuff that's pretty, but I also like stuff that looks like metal. Like I have that guitar pick and stuff like that. I don't know. I was going to say I'm basically into anything that's not ugly, but ugly and pretty is subjective. I don't think that answers your question.
Blind Guardian. Sorry, listened to Christian punk before. Did you?
No. I don't know what genre of music it is that I listen to and I like. It usually has to do with love or sadness.
Yeah, you like to be sad.
I love... Well, you know what it is? I like listening to a sad song because when it's done, I'm like, oh, but that's not what's happening. So, okay. So it kind of makes me feel better. And it gives me a reason to feel this. I think sometimes I just feel sadness inside, and I'm like, well, why do I feel sad right now? So it kind of like gives me a reason to feel sad, and so then I can like feel sad and feel like it's okay. I don't know.
My mother-in-law makes Julia. I wonder if you'd be interested in a necklace made by her or something for the girls. Yeah,
absolutely.
Anything for me? Well, I got this from one of our village people, and it's very actually important to me. So.
And it looks good on you too.
What do you think of Aaron Ra's point that there's no difference between miracles and our holy intervention and magic?
I don't usually like long necklaces. I usually like them up here.
How do I answer this? I mean, I had a conversation with the big homie, and he said, all these miracles, nobody's named. And I said, Bartimaeus. Because that's the guy's name. There's lots of people who are named. And he goes, well, whatever. That was the guy that comes in from the side who you pay off and yada, yada, yada. So it's like, okay. Mm-hmm. To me, it's like, what are your standards for evidence? And there's some people who, unbeknownst to them, have set up their epistemology in such a way as to have the thing never be provable to them. So that's kind of my opinion on Aaron Ra's statement there.
Okay, Fred, I play the guitar a little bit, but it's not like an electric guitar. It's just like what you would hear if you entered a hippie church, probably.
I like when you do it, though. It's awesome.
And I don't like doing it on a guitar that's not tuned, so I need to get batteries for our tuner.
Vin, do you like Sam Harris? Yes. Yeah, I like Sam Harris. If the Bible clearly says that no man has seen heaven except the Son of Man, then why the hell do most Christians think you go there when you die? I don't know what you're talking about. What I will say is that Paul says that he desired to be absent from the body and be present with the Lord. He didn't use terminology like heaven. You're probably talking about no one has ascended except the Son of Man who is from heaven. That's in John chapter 3. But that was before the death and resurrection of Christ.
Yes, Fred, one day I will play a little small tune for you guys. Maybe I'll sing one of the things I used to like to sing.
If you're a socialist, you should listen to Napalm Death and try to talk to Barney Greenway. Okay. I'm pretty sure I'm a socialist. Pretty sure.
It's going so fast.
Lenin was a communist and Stalin was a fascist hiding behind communism. Modern day socialism is more akin to countries like Canada and the Netherlands. Thank you, Jeff.
This is cute. Rob says, my brother's a big metalhead and I'm a Christian. He told me about you. Cool channel.
Cool.
Now, Rob, how do you feel about us swearing?
Spitfire 1.
Aw, thank you.
I thank you, sir. Sori concert coming soon.
Don't get too excited. It's definitely not at all metal. You guys are going to be like, please stop.
Nay will not tell you.
You'll like it because you love me.
Yeah. I agree. So us and our in the story of creation is talking about the Trinity. I disagree. Well, who do you think the us were? When are you doing the Nightwish DVD she sent? We are really, really backed up.
You have no idea. You have no idea.
I'm going to write a concept album from this channel. Jonathan Melton, if you did, we'd go to your house. Thank you for the Satyricon reaction. Socialism is not Christian and it's not moral. Well, Mr. Breadman, maybe you should come because we're going to have Jamar L. Thomas, who's a socialist. He's going to come and explain socialism. Us and our meaning there are more than one God.
Tasco, I think it's very arrogant to think that there is a right religion. Either they're all right or none of them. In my opinion, if you're a good person, you go up. If you're a bad one, you go down, regardless of the religion.
I mean, isn't that a religious statement? And then if you're right, does that make you arrogant? I don't think it's arrogant to claim that you know the truth. It's not arrogant. Us and our meaning there are more than one God. Well, the problem is that when Moses goes on to say, and so God made man in his image, the term his is singular. So there's a plurality there, and there's a singularity there, which is exactly what Trinitarians say about the nature of God.
When is Jamar L. Thomas going to be on?
Jamar L. Thomas is going to be live at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to have a brief interview with him. He's going to break down socialism to me, or democratic socialism, or whatever, so that I can finally put my flag down, and then we're going to open it up to audience questions, and then people are going to go, no, you're wrong, and then I'm going to be confused at the end of the night, probably. Thoughts on the Anunnaki?
Don't know anything about the stone ape theory, do you?
Yeah, it's the thing with the that's how we came into consciousness. It's that on the Joe Rogan show with I forgot what the guy's name was, the mushroom guy.
Yeah.
And that's how we came into consciousness.
Somebody wants you to explain how they said they never could understand. I don't know what you mean, how we came into consciousness by an ape, but that doesn't make any sense to me. OTEP blood pigs. Thank you, 1981 Jones.
OTEP is coming soon.
Yeah, so, what was I going to say? They want you to explain the flood story because they said it never made any damn sense to them. Well, they didn't say damn, but.
Lilo doesn't call in because Ben doesn't know how to disguise his voice well enough.
There's apps for that, Ben.
Huh. Majestic Demon Lord. Can you ask him, as a socialist, why are you entitled to collective ownership of assets that I have purchased? I don't think he would say that. I think what we're talking about is healthcare and education. Melechesh is an album about the Anunnaki. No way. It's interesting.
Yes, Ben, there's apps for that. So you could make yourself sound like Lilo. Then you could call in under that disguise. But don't call him a boob because then we'll know for sure.
If we go to heaven, what's the point of the resurrection? Well, the resurrection's about your body, and heaven is about your soul. You stop lying, KZ. You have not asked for Chariot for 5 months. Just tuning in. What's the topic? Socialism and why it's evil, maybe. And Trump is Trump gonna get impeached? And Sori on the guitar, I think. We already have a social healthcare system. It doesn't include everyone. Well, if somebody's left out, then it sucks.
Buy your installer. Enjoy your walk.
Thank you, Dario. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how many subs we get. It's pretty crazy. We're very honored.
Holly, we haven't even been around for 5 years. Yeah, but HQ Video Dude, I already said I don't play metal. I play like a hippie church person. I think you guys need to be well aware.
Is socialism evil because Vin believes in it, or is Vin believe in it because it's evil? The idea of the Holy Trinity came much later. What are you talking about? There's as I explained to Aaron Ra, there's binitarianism in the book of Genesis all over the place.
Holly.
What do you mean? There are multiple members of the Godhead in Genesis 19 when they destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Genesis 19, the Lord rained down fire from the Lord out of heaven. So, I don't know what you're talking about. If we continue long enough, religions will die out. I don't think so.
Nope.
Socialism is stealing.
What are your thoughts of eating kosher? Check this out. Kosher salt.
Socialism is stealing. Well, if a kid is starving and he steals bread, is he a thief? Well, yes, but is the society at large more to blame because they put that kid in that situation? So if when the Lord rained down fire, was he trying to get Hillary? That's terrible. So I mean, you know, these corporations that get all these tax breaks, I mean, that's stealing. The bailouts, that's stealing. These banks that are too big to fail, that's stealing. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
People are not entitled to a doctor's services. The doctors themselves are not for it. I think that,
so just let them die.
Yeah, I think that as basic, like very, very basic common courtesy, if your neighbor is suffering and in pain, then you should want them to be able to receive the help and the care that they need. And honestly, I think that there's probably something that I miss when we have political discussions, because I think it's crazy if somebody says, no, like all people shouldn't be able to get health care regardless. I think that's crazy.
So are we saying that health care is not a human right? What happened when the world changes? I mean, I think that's the only hope for the world is objective morality, Ben.
What about the churches that all get tax-exempt status? Thieves.
Well, I don't have a problem with people taxing churches.
I don't either.
If the money is going to go to help people get health care.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that's the line of demarcation. Is healthcare a human right? And if we say that healthcare is a human right, then we cannot monetize it in such a way as to deny that for people who need it.
Did you see what Steven said? We could afford health care for everyone in this country if we stopped paying our tax dollars for wars. But then, but there's some wars that have to be fought, right? I mean, should we have just let Hitler keep doing what he was doing? I mean...
Yeah, but that's Afghanistan, Iraq, those were not necessary wars.
Matt... Yes, it's a human right. If you disagree, you're a moron. Okay?
We made human rights up just like the gods. David, David, are you an atheist? I've been trying to explain that to your fellow atheist friends. Is abortion health care? No. Vin, what about the story about the kids who made fun of the bald guy and got beat up?
We actually answered that in one of the firesides already.
We answered that in the previous fireside. Well, let's say cannibalism is immoral. If the weather changes, so crops don't grow and livestock is... Healthcare is a human... this thing is like flying.
Blowing up.
Once you start talking about healthcare, people start going crazy. $2 trillion is what we spent in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Jeez,
Thank you.
Oh.
And I don't blame anyone for giving me grief for my highest viewed is 8,500,000.
Have you seen any of his stuff? I don't think you can post a link here. I don't think it'll let you. Like, we would let you, but I don't think YouTube will. But send me an email. I definitely want to check out what you got going on.
I need Sabaton.
These damn atheists that believe in economic Darwinianism. Yeah. I'm just an atheist.
We made you appreciate Cradle of Filth again. Well, good.
Wow.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lindsay. I should screenshot that and send it to her. I don't have a problem with churches paying taxes. Go for it. In the specific church that we were in, literally 100% of the capital went to the building and the people. Nobody collected a salary. Mm-hmm. But that's probably rare. No, Ben. No. Love your neighbor as yourself. So that's not gonna change. It'd be hard to justify murder. Okay, talk to that lady from Planned Parenthood and see if it's hard to justify murder.
Right.
If we'd all love each other, all the darkness and the doubt would cease. I agree.
Thank you, Alex. You see that?
Yeah?
No, I've never heard Angel Maker.
It's an interesting name.
Yeah.
Creflo Dollar needs a private plane.
Thank you, Ian.
Okay,
Very
so
proud of Britain's NHS.
Jesus told us to give to the poor as individuals. I don't recall him saying to Caesar or Rome to give to the poor. Well, Jesus deputized Paul as well as Peter, and Paul and Peter both stated that you should fear God, honor the king, and pay your taxes. So,
what's NHS?
There you go.
That Ian was saying.
I'll have to see the context.
Well, he was a super chatter, so there it is. Very proud of the Britain's NHS.
Probably the healthcare system.
Free healthcare for all. Yeah, it's crazy because
National health system is probably.
I think that's like cool for everybody to be able to get healthcare, but then when you see like the breakdowns of what happens when that goes on and the decisions that are made for people and the people that are not able to get the help that they need, I thought that was pretty crazy. Remember that? What was the name of that documentary we watched?
I forgot. But it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was really good. Where's my phone?
If you tax churches, they'd be entitled to take political positions openly. Don't do it. Kimmo, they can do that now. What are you talking about? Have you seen Bernie Sanders debate Ted Cruz on healthcare? What do you think of Ted's criticisms of bed form of healthcare, since Ted very obviously won that debate? I don't know about that, Stephen Nihilus. Why don't you call me and talk to me about healthcare? Look, here's what I want. I want someone to call me and tell me that healthcare is not a human right.
Yeah.
If you believe that healthcare is not, why do you guys call each one of these fireside? Should I keep missing it as a re-upload? Well, sometimes, I'll have to think about that.
Tracy, we didn't give him a proper burial. We haven't boxed one of the villagers. People like were able to like, oh, what do you call that when people say I'll give? They bid on him, so he went to the highest bidder.
Vin, would you sacrifice healthcare because an abortion should be covered? That's a contradictory question.
Right.
Because when I'm worried about healthcare, I'm worried about the health of human beings.
Yep.
So if you include in healthcare killing human beings, then that's not healthcare.
Can you?
So I'm not going to choose between those.
Listen, if you want to, you got to Skype us, Vin and Sori. Put a space between there. Did you?
What, babe? What's up?
Are you on Do Not Disturb for Skype?
That's very possible. Skype. Boop. Update available. Not now. I am available. So.
Oh, you're available. Okay. We need those.
So if somebody wants to call me and tell me that
Somebody was trying to.
Healthcare is not a human right.
Here, honey. Put that under your phone.
Yeah. I agree, Ben, man. I think you can support public health care and not want abortion to be part of it. Yes, women are human beings, and half the babies that are aborted are little women. I agree. That's something we need to be worried about for sure.
Hi, Taylor.
Not instances of rape. Instances of life of the mother are extremely rare. And again, I am pro-life. So that's a situation in which one life is going to be lost and potentially two. Mm-hmm. The fact that you had to state that women are human beings is kind of worrying.
Yeah.
Ben, I was quoting somebody in the chat. Hey, Michael. Keep up the black metal reactions. Skål from Copenhagen, Denmark. Mm-hmm. No, it's just evil. It's not necessary. Tottengut. Name a country where socialized medicine actually works. That's actually a good point. I'm not sure. I don't know much about socialized medicine. I agree, Chris.
No, K2, when you say you will never get rid of abortions by making it illegal, you will only create a black market for it. Sure, a black market will be created for it, but we will not be aborting at the rate that we're doing it now because it's legalized. So many more women are taking that option than I know lots of women that wouldn't seek out a black market, but they would go to an abortion clinic. So when you legalize it, it makes it so that way it happens at a much more rapid pace.
We wouldn't have aborted 50 million human beings.
No.
If,
No. It makes it's too easy to just go. I'm not saying it's completely easy, but it's a lot easier to go into a sterile environment where it's talked about like it's just a healthy procedure and it's not what it actually is. If you got to go to some black market thing, it creates an entirely different environment. And people, I don't think, would be using it as preventative, like, oh, I got pregnant, so now I'm just going to abort the baby, and instead of like going on a birth control or something. Yes, in our worldview, the aborted fetuses will be in heaven with God.
Does the planet need 50 million more human beings? I don't know, David. Should I ask you that question with a gun to your head? That changes it, doesn't it? These people are so willing to just get rid of human beings as long as it's not them. Mm-hmm. Appreciate that, TJ.
I know, right? And the thing is, like, we're looking at it like, oh, what did they say? 50 what? 50 million? What did they say?
Yeah, 50 million is conservative.
We don't even know what advances we would have made with 50 million more minds on this planet. Like, maybe we're just living the way, maybe we would have flying cars by now. Maybe we would be able to live on another planet by now if we hadn't have massacred 50,000 of our brilliant minds. Like, there has to have been people that had been aborted that would have been able to, maybe help us fix world hunger, help us fix some of these things, but they're dead, so, their contribution is lost.
Just suggest it, Dan. Okay, Majestic Demon Lord, call me. Explain economics to me, and then we can talk. Because I'll need this to talk to what's his face.
Tomba, the minute that the sperm meets the egg, it has its entire own DNA strand. And if you look at the movement, I mean, I don't know. I think that people want to find reasons to not believe what the obvious is.
I agree with you, Perkinos. It's my good friend, Majestic Demon Lord. What's up, my brother?
Oh, not much. What's up with you?
Okay, so...
Then, how's it, Sori?
This is my guy, Majestic Demon Lord.
Oh, hey, what's up?
For an argument.
Well, I'm not sure we're going to argue that much. I more so want to be educated here. So, you're saying that you're not sure if healthcare is a human right?
It's a tricky one.
Okay, now you're claiming, you claim to be an atheist, right?
I certainly do.
Okay, so you haven't worked out in your epistemology yet how you come about with human rights? Is that what it is? Or you have a set understanding of human...
let's compare it to other human rights. I think that's the easiest way. Like,
yes.
Right to freedom of expression, right to freedom of religion. All of those things do not require somebody else to do something for you.
Yes, it does.
I'm not... Well, no. If I have freedom of religion, for example, I could go out into the wilderness and not interact with anyone else and pray to whatever deity I felt fine with.
Yeah, but if there was a radical element in your culture that wanted to stop you from going to the woods, you would need somebody to defend you from that person, wouldn't you?
True, but you're talking about the enforcement of the right rather than the practice of the right. If you get the difference, I'm like, to put it in perspective. Both countries that I've lived in have a national health service, and when I look at America, I don't think the American system is correct. I don't think it should be user pays at point of entry. I get the argument that the Americans make when they say that because we run it like a business, it's more efficient, the response time is quicker. But at the same time, I've the fact that when I had kids, I could just go into the hospital and not be saddled with a $30,000 bill. But is it a right? And I'm very cautious about granting rights or defining rights. A good example is we've mentioned about firearms. I own firearms, but I'm against the idea of firearm ownership being a right. So it's a really tricky one. Really tricky.
Believe me, I'm not trying to pull you into another discussion, but where are you getting the concept of rights from in the first place?
To me, the concept of rights, if I was to define it as narrowly as possible, are things that I should be able to do on my own, by myself, that have no impact on other people. So, for example, freedom of sexual expression, let's pick that one. If I'm gay, that theoretically has no impact on anyone else. Does that make sense?
What about if you're yeah, so it's basically, so rights come down to autonomy for you.
Pretty much. That's where I sort of get to. What's the classical phrase? No man is an island. I'm on the other side, that I think that, there are certain things that you should be able to do that don't impinge on other people, and those should be protected by the state. I think that's closest to my thoughts.
Okay, so if autonomy is the basis for human rights, then yeah, I would agree. Healthcare is not a human right then.
But again, like as I said, I live in countries with nationalized healthcare, and I think when they are properly implemented, there are some definitive benefits over the American system. But there are some benefits that the American system also has, and it's. I mean, to use your example, you've got a child who's suffering from a horrendous disease, and they get turned away, being told that they have to pay $250,000 for insert brand new drug that will possibly give them a chance at life. It's hard not to feel affected.
Yeah, but I mean, who cares? Nobody's impeding his autonomy, so he doesn't have the right to that treatment. We just let him die.
Well, again, like, autonomy for me really applies to adults. Like, you can't apply those standards of autonomy to a child.
Why?
Well, for a start, a child doesn't have adult reasoning and doesn't have adult agency.
So
that would be, and I mean, there's also a legal argument, but I'm not going to appeal to the law there. But it's tricky. And the thing with healthcare is, healthcare requires somebody to administer it to you, unless you're hypothetically trained as a doctor. But then, it's not a right.
Hold on for a second. Hold on. Let me go back to the child thing, because I don't understand this. You initially said that rights really boil down to a person's autonomy.
Correct.
Are you saying Are you saying that children don't have rights then?
Oh, that's a tricky one, because in some cases they don't. Like, for example, say you've got a 5-year-old, and they have a life-threatening disease, and you take them to the doctor, and the doctor says, right, I need to give you an injection, or I need to give you a treatment. They don't have the right to say, no, I don't want the injection, because they're not an adult. They don't have adult reason.
Right.
You as the parent can say, you're getting the injection so that you don't die.
Right. Just like a parent can say, we're going to inject you with this saline solution and disintegrate your body. Same thing. They don't have rights.
Yeah. I'm not claiming that's a perfect solution or a perfect situation. Just as an FYI, I'm pro-choice. Sorry, guys, but
I'm not shocked. So what you're saying is that children don't have rights because
they don't have the full set of human rights. So, like, the right to life, once they're born, children have that. But like the right to own property, I'm not sure if it's in the US, but I don't think you can own property until you're 18.
Aren't some of these standards a bit arbitrary, like just made up out of the air?
Oh, totally. And it's something that irritates the tits off me, is the fact that you can have... I've met some 16-year-olds who have got more sense in their little fingers than some 30-year-olds that I've met. And I look at those 16-year-olds and I'm like, there's a whole bunch of rights that should be granted to you that shouldn't be granted to these other idiots. But the problem is, at the national level, you can't treat everyone as an individual the way that you would like to. And so you have to make these, 99 percentile decisions and say, in 99 times out of 100, the 30-year-old is going to be competent and the 16-year-old isn't. And that's something that, for me, mentally, is a constant source of irritation.
So your standard is the cognitive ability. So, like, for example, if somebody's like severely mentally retarded, they don't have rights either.
Again, we're really delving into the fringe thing.
Whoa. Mental retardation. That's not fringe. That's millions of people.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. Again, I would look at how you treat a child is the same standard. The way I would say it is there's a certain set of rights upon which the individual has to be cognizant and has to be able to reason their positions out on. Is it a perfect solution? No, but
So let me try this. So you said the child has a right to life when it's born.
Yep.
And you admitted that it was just a completely arbitrary, made-up standard.
Well, okay, if you really want to delve into my personal thoughts on this issue, there is a point at which the fetus becomes viable outside the womb, and that varies from person to person. That's the point at which I happen to take it. Before that point, my personal position is that if it's not capable of surviving outside the womb, it's close to life, but it's not quite life.
I see. So if I took a newborn baby and left it to itself to fend for himself, would he survive?
Well, I was going to make a witty joke about some of the legends of newborns being left in the forest and coming back to be great leaders, but no, of course not.
Okay, so then what does that do to your viability argument then?
That's a good point, but the difference is
don't we arrest people who do that to kids?
Oh yeah, we do.
So so hold on for a second. Hold on, Majestic. I promise I'll let you talk. So what you just told me was because the child couldn't survive without the mother in utero, it was okay to kill it. But then you admitted that the child wouldn't be able to survive without his mother ex utero, and that woman should be arrested for child endangerment because the very reason that we put her in jail for child endangerment was because the child was completely dependent on her. But now you're saying, well, in utero, the rules are complete opposite. We can kill it because the child is completely dependent on her. Do you see a logical contradiction there at all?
No, I don't, because there's one key thing that you missed. And the key thing is, if you provide everything that the child needs, so food, water, and human contact, the child won't survive if it's too premature. So we can give it everything that it needs, it won't survive. It is not fully formed enough. Its lungs, its brain, its spinal column, its heart, it simply won't live. Whereas ex utero, you give it all the things that you need, excluding, accidents, getting diseases, and the child will live. Is it
No. I said the child.
Solid difference? It's not, but that's my position.
Okay, so you just conceded that's not a really significant difference, is it?
It's not significant enough to me.
Well, it's slim enough for you to justify killing another Homo sapien.
Yeah,
okay.
If you there's other areas where, for example, I agree with the death penalty, but not the way that the US does it. Like there are things where I think it's there is what would you say, a logical justification for taking of a life. But one thing I will quickly say, Vin, and I think this is very important, the argument of the pro-life team is an entirely logically consistent argument. If you hold the presupposition that life begins at conception.
Well, hold on. Majestic. Can you name me one scientist that disagrees that when the sperm hits the egg that we have a separate organism?
Well, you say organism, but we don't.
This is not what I'm saying.
At the point of conception, right? It's called a zygote.
Hold on.
It has a different name.
It's
not a human. It's a single fertilized cell.
No. It's a living organism with its own. I wish Alec was here because Alec has already admitted this, and he's a scientist. It's got its own DNA strand, and the majority of the babies that we abort have heartbeats. Do you realize that?
Oh yeah. The heart develops very on.
Okay, hold on.
Early on in development.
Okay,
but,
so it is. So there's no debate about whether or not we're killing a living thing, is there?
Well,
That's not a debate. Things with heartbeats are alive.
How do you define living, right? You've got Mrs. Gren, so movement, respiration, sex, growing, the other R1 something, and I can't remember because it's been a while.
Majestic, hold on. You're the atheist, right? I'm the Christian. You're supposed to be the science guy. You agree? Scientifically speaking, we are killing a living Homo sapien. Isn't that true?
Well, you can't call it a Homo sapien when it's a single cell.
It's not. It's not a single cell when we're aborting it. First of all, most abortions, they won't abort that early because there's too much danger in piercing the wall. So they have to have the child big enough so that they can make the distinction to eliminate him. You realize that?
Yeah, I just want to be clear. You're talking about the U.S. I'm not sure about what the U.S. policy is, but where I am, it's up to the first trimester. That's the cutoff point. And most fetuses become viable around the middle of the second trimester. My
man, you're trying to switch. You're trying to switch the goalposts because you don't want to admit that you're advocating for killing Homo sapiens. If you're gonna, I
don't consider them Homo sapiens.
Okay, Majestic.
They're viable outside the womb.
Majestic, my man, that's a philosophical position. I'm asking you for a scientific one.
Yeah, I've given my reasons for holding that.
No. I don't care about your reasons. I want you to quote me, any scientist who will deny that when the sperm hits the egg and that DNA profile gets created and that heart is beating, that we are not ending the life of a Homo sapien.
I'd have to read up the literature.
Okay, here's a spoiler. Here's a spoiler for you, my man. None of them will deny that. Even the folks in Planned Parenthood, the largest abortion provider in the United States of America, do not deny it. They've explicitly stated that they know they're killing human beings.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you talk. This is not a pro-life position. This is a scientific position. The pro-life position is we shouldn't kill living Homo sapiens. That's the pro-life position. It's not the pro-life position that life begins at conception. That's not pro-life. That's just science.
Yeah, so as I said, I have some sympathies for that position, and I think it is a logically consistent position, but it's not one that I hold. But that was actually, we've got way sidetracked from what I actually wanted to talk to you about, which was actually money and how it works, and this is particularly relevant to healthcare and socialism.
Yes, go ahead.
So the first thing is, if I was to ask you, what is money?
Well, I want to make one concession for you before you go on. Yep. I do think that although there are problems I see philosophically that you may not have considered with your definition of what rights are, if I just go by your definition, which is just plain autonomy, I think it's consistent to say from that perspective that healthcare is not a human right. So what I'm saying is if you define human rights that way, I'm agreeing with you that from that perspective, and I don't know if people heard it, but basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, Majestic, because I don't want to misrepresent you, that the autonomy, the self-will of a cognizant individual is the basis and the definition of human rights. Is that right?
Pretty much. That's where I personally would draw the line using my judgment.
Okay.
One of the things I don't like rights being granted spuriously, and so I think you should have many privileges in a society, and those privileges should come with responsibilities. Like I said, I have firearms. That's a privilege where I am, and it comes with some very stringent responsibilities. But it's not a right for me. That's kind of my...
I get it. Okay, so we're calibrated. So now you asked me a question, what is money? Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Money is the standard by which we can trade to exchange goods.
It's a pretty good answer.
Okay.
So the definition that I've done, I use is it's a placeholder for things of value. Now, things of value, whether that's raw materials, land, time and labor, skills, etc., etc. And the reason why that's key is when we're talking healthcare. So one of the big complaints about nationalized healthcare is, or one of the big things is when everyone pays for it, because it's not being run like a business, suddenly that fixes all of the problems. But the issue is, even if something's not run like a business, the function of money in that system is to to be able to keep a track of different skill sets. So a really good example, say you've got two doctors. And doctor number one is bog standard family doctor. Sniffles, colds, wheezing chests, that kind of stuff. Doctor number two is your heart specialist, and doctor number two commands a much higher salary. Now, that salary, people on the anti-privatized healthcare side will say, that salary is extortionate, and but what that actually is that is a way for us to gauge how required,
specialized.
What the need is for his services. So what you'd say is, for most cases, you don't need that specialized care, so we're not going to use that person. We're going to use the family doctor.
Right. Okay.
But when we have a heart issue, we want to use the specialist, and we want to make sure that they have the time and the space to provide the maximum amount of care for that individual. And this is something that I find often socialists, or people who democratic socialism, or the other one that I can never remember the name of, they often sort of sidestep it with a sort of hand wave of, if the government just pays for it, everything will work. But the problem is that you then have to assert, your heart doctor, for example, he's probably, or she is probably a very smart person, and there
right.
are many things that they could be doing with their intellect and with their hard work, and with that, even if before they've gone through medical school. So you're standing at you're a smart kid, you know that you're a smart kid, and it's like, well, do I go into engineering? Do I go into medicine? There's a choice there. Now, there's some temperamental factors that we're aware of, that certain temperament types tend towards certain professions, but there's also an economic incentive, which is, I'm going to spend, let's be honest, 9 years of my life foregoing luxuries, working hard to increase my knowledge, increase my skill set. The payoff is then going to be, not only do I get to save lives, because most doctors would say that's their primary thing, but also I want to pay off for that investment that I've made.
Yeah, but doesn't the government? I'm literally completely ignorant on this topic. So, doesn't the government subsidize the heart doctor at a higher rate than the cough and sniffles doctor?
At a higher rate, but here's the question: is it a high enough rate? And what I mean by that is, so let's use a real world example. Common GP is probably not going to be required to perform a 13-hour surgery.
What's a GP? I'm sorry.
A general practitioner.
Oh, okay.
That's your generic doctor.
Okay.
They're not going to be called upon to perform a 13-hour critical surgery with a 2-hour notice period. They might be out with their wife and kids having a dinner. Pager goes off. Oh, sorry, hun. I need to get.
He's got to go.
And it's things like that. This is where the higher remuneration comes in, and it's got to be high enough that when I get that page, I work in a field where I've got an on-call thing, and I'm not a medical doctor, it's IT, but when I get paged, I know that I'm getting paid enough to justify the other activities that I would otherwise be engaged in. That's basically one of the things where I whenever I've talked with socialists, they always sort of hand wave away, and they'll be like, but people just want to do the right thing. And it's like, no. If I'm at home with my family and having a nice, family time, the last thing that I want to do is hop on my car, drive an hour away to some hospital, and then spend 14 hours in what could arguably be described as one of the most high-stress environments known to man. Short of combat, I'd say combat's probably a little bit more high stress.
Yes, it is. What the hell?
I've been meaning to ask, sorry quick, have you served, Vin?
Let's
I wanted to ask you that.
Let's talk about something else.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so are you willing to have a conversation with somebody who disagree with you?
Is the Pope a Catholic?
Okay, because it was.
I'm going to have to say it's not going to be now because my sproglet has just woken up from a nap, so I'm going to have to call it in like 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay. No. Take care of your sproglet. Is that what you called it?
You want to hear baby babble in the microphone?
Well, I love babies, Majestic. You're
I'm the baby killer, right? Let's make the jokes.
No. I mean, it's horrific. I don't think you do it in real life. I hope not. I hope you wouldn't do that in real life. But you've got a horrific perspective. But I think that's because you're comfortable. You're not in that field, so you don't have to live with the moral ramifications of doing that on a daily basis because of your slim moral margin there. But take care of your kid. Tina.
I'm going to add a quick correction. Although I'm not in that field, don't presume my ignorance, and that's all I'm going to say.
Okay, that's fair. Touché.
But one thing, just for the socialists, one thing that they did ask is they said that if I work for a business and I'm paid a wage, I'm not fully reaping all the benefits of my labor. You know, the business basically gets a slice of profit. So here's what I'd like you to ask. If I go contracting for a company, I can earn, in my field at least, 2 to 3 times what I currently earn. But that comes with a whole bunch of risks. I don't get to take part in any I don't get corporate insurance program, I don't get corporate healthcare program, and I don't have job security. So when I'm working, I work for a company, I don't contract, and I've thought about contracting. I am sacrificing the money that I would want for something that I actually hold as higher value. So job stability means that I can have a much better work-life balance and a much lower stress threshold than if I was to contract. So they might make an argument to something along the lines of, the corporation or the company steals labor from its workers. Well, it's a negotiation. And when I go to another company, I'm high enough in my position that I can say, actually, there's not enough zeros on the right side of the paycheck, or, I would like these corporate benefits or whatever. So those are just the things for the socialism. Just before I disappear, you still haven't done Cryptopsy, Phobophile, or Deliverance by Opeth and Vin. I'm hurting. I'm deeply hurting.
All right, take care of the sproglet, and then hopefully I can get somebody, because I get what you're saying. Although there's a couple questions I wanted to know about the ramifications of what you're saying that we didn't get to talk about. But take care of your sproglet, and then I'm sure you'll be back.
I will. Sweet. See you.
See ya.
See ya, chat.
Bye. So there's like a side, I'm not even sure what your discussion was because I was having another one, but there's like a side discussion going on about like rape and abortion and stuff like that.
Dirk, call me.
Well, he's not the only one. There's like actually lots of people. But no, like I said before, like I don't think that we should kill a child for the crimes that his father has committed. And secondly, like I said before, was that women, I personally talked to women who have aborted their baby after having a rape. And you never forget a rape. You never forget that level of violation. And every time that came to their minds, connected to that also was the murder of their child. And so it actually exacerbated their pain and made it worse. I've also had women in my life that have kept their babies even though they have been raped. And they said that it was actually like measures of grace for them or something that helped them and saved them, because like they said that the rape made them very suicidal at points in times, and like because the baby was there, like it helped them to like keep going. And they said, oh my gosh, I love my baby so much, I can't even believe that I contemplated the thought of not having this child in existence. But I think that I don't think that, like we said, we're pro-life. So if a mom, if her life is threatened, and so like let's say it's that particular case where they say if you continue on with this, like the mom is gonna die. So either way, either the mom is gonna die or the baby is gonna die or both of them are gonna die. Then we're gonna pick the choice that's gonna make it so we have the most survivors. And I know that some people in those situations say, you know what, I'm going to go through with the pregnancy even though my life is threatened because, you know, they feel a certain way about it, or maybe they don't trust the doctors, or they believe that God might make a miracle happen. And I'm sure that there are times where there are miracles, and I'm sure that there are times when the mom's life is lost. But I believe that we always want the, you know, the highest amount of lives possible.
I think Tina's supposed to call me.
No, Ben, I'm not saying that one person said it and they become a spokesperson, but I'm saying that I have talked to people because I don't know how many
we've actually dealt with these people.
But we've dealt with a lot of these people, and I feel like a lot of times people are making, you know, saying, oh, well, a rape victim should be able to kill their baby right off the bat, and nobody's actually really talked to. I don't know how many people in this chat have actually talked to rape victims who have kept or who have not kept their babies. I never met one that said, I wish that I would have killed the baby after the baby was actually born. You know, I think that sometimes, especially if the child looks like oh my word, I'm so tired.
The perpetrator.
Well, the perpetrator was in my mind, but I was thinking predator.
Well,
I think that makes it a little bit more difficult, but it's still, you know, abortion shouldn't be an option. Like adoption, you know, if you can't, you know, go through with it or whatever. But I think a lot of times, sorry, who survives then according to you? What do you mean who survives?
Well, while you guys are having that discussion, I just want to make sure that Tina is on tap. Where is she? Tina, you're supposed to call me.
No, old school fan, you're not a bad Christian if you don't go to church, but going to church is like a great place to be able to be around other people that will encourage you, and uplift you and help you to learn more about God, because we all see different things about God and we learn different things about him, and then we can share those experiences with each other and get a fuller picture of who God is and stuff. So you're not a bad Christian because you don't go, but you know, we're not supposed to not go. You should be gathering, but even like coming to these chats and like listening to the channel and stuff, like you're getting experiences of like almost even like a church environment, because, you know, we talk about God. It's part of who we are.
Listen to Dirk. Dirk is saying that I'm being condescending, but then he says, telling a rape victim not to get rid of the child is cruel. Get rid of? Like it's garbage? That's not cruel, though. Like, we're not considering that there are two Homo sapiens involved here. One of them her body was violated by an evil man. And what you're saying is the solution to that problem is to have the little one also be violated by an evil person. Mm-hmm. So your solution to bodily violation is more bodily violation. To you, that might seem compassionate. To me, that seems pretty cruel.
Brandy, foster care is not always a bad situation, and I know that there are times that they are a bad situation, but just because people go through painful things doesn't mean that we should kill them, so that way lots of people will express that some of the most, you know, difficult times of their life was where they grew the most, you know, and I just think that, like, just because somebody has a difficult time, and you can't even know definitively that they're going to have a difficult time. And a lot of babies don't go into foster care. A lot of babies go straight into a home because there's lots of infertile women who would love to have the baby.
Charlie, of course it's the government's job to tell you what to do with your body. Look, I can't take my body and put a gun in it and then put a bullet in your body. I can't take, this is part of my body. I can't take that and then put it in your eye. The government tells us a lot of things to do with our body. This whole thing is, I mean, look, the only question that I have is, what are we doing? If we're killing a human being, then it shouldn't happen. That's all I'm saying. If we're not killing a human being, then go for it. This is why Majestic Demon Lord tried to redefine science, because he doesn't want to admit that we're killing human beings. Mm-hmm.
And like TJ Music said, also abortions cause a lot of mental problems that come later in life for women. Yes, I've talked to these women. I can attest to this.
Okay, Dirk, call me if you'd like, but I need you to talk to me about the person that's actually going to die. Because the child is actually going to die. Like, I understand that the woman's gone through trauma, for sure. And killing the child isn't going to relieve her trauma. But my question to you is the child's life valuable at all?
Under the gaming category. I don't know why we're under the gaming category, and I don't even know how to fix that.
I don't know. We'll check it later. Okay, Tina is loading up for the call. So, Dirk, you can call me if you'd like.
No, Shay is saying, I already said that I know a woman who had an abortion is doing okay, to all women who say they know women who are otherwise.
Yeah, I don't think those are the real issues. The real issue is, what are we doing?
Right.
And if we're killing a human being, that's it, full stop. We shouldn't kill human beings. The minute but we talk about this. We talk about the Holocaust. We talk about Pol Pot. We talk about the USSR, and people still don't get it. Mm-hmm. Every generation, there are groups of human beings who are open season for killing, and there's always justifications for it. And we always judge the people before, and we don't have the self-awareness to realize that we're part of it. If you want to know what you would have done in Nazi Germany, here's your opportunity.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
So sorry you don't agree with taking the pill. What, the morning after pill? No, I don't agree with that. No, I don't agree with that. Okay, if child or mom is in danger, who lives, sorry, how would you decide? I mean, what's your position? Like we said before, we're looking for what's going to make the highest survival or the highest amount of survivors. So if the abortion, if the mom is, if her life is threatened and they say, okay, you're not going to survive if you go through with this. I'm not comfortable with it, but I'm like a different person. Like, I think that if I was in that position, I think I would say no. Like, I have to still try, like, to see. Like, I don't know how Vin would handle that situation, being that it would be my life that would be in danger. But I think that that's a different situation where you're saying, okay, well, if the mom goes through with this, the baby's going to probably definitely die. And on top of that, the mom's going to die. So we would say, okay, the least amount of deaths would be if only the baby dies. So, but that is such a small percentage of actual happenings that it's ridiculous. But everybody always wants to go to those small little pockets of, like, even the rape victim thing, like, that everybody makes the most noise about is less than 1% of all abortions that take place. The majority of abortions are not rape and are not the life of the mother is threatened. But everybody wants to focus on those pockets because which
demonstrates the evil of the entire enterprise.
Exactly.
Honestly. If you have to use 1% of an issue to justify 99% of an issue,
right,
then you're on the wrong side. I mean, this is. I mean, I don't know. Okay, so if nobody's gonna call about the topic to actually try to defend, or maybe nobody wants to go on camera and say they're okay with killing Homo sapiens.
No, I don't know. Somebody said that they tried to call in, but that there was no answer because we were waiting for Tina. So.
Well, I want Tina to, but this is when when we talk about morality and people say things like, "Oh, common empathy, it's axiomatic." Okay.
I don't know, Oliver, what you mean. Can you answer it? How do you stop it? Stop what? How do you call? You call us through Skype. Vin and Sori.
How do I feel about the left? I think the left has.
Tony says Tina's calling soon.
I think the left, needs to figure out what they actually are. On the one hand, I think they're very compassionate. If you survive the birth canal, the left seems to be the party of compassion. The right seems to be obsessed with getting people out of the birth canal, and then once you're out of the birth canal, it's every man for themselves. So economically like Majestic Demon Lord, like when he was explaining what money was and things like that, it's very intriguing to me. Tina, I think, had some disagreements with it, and I wanted to hear her out. But emotionally speaking, I'm probably more of a leftist when it comes to economics and does the government have the right to steal your money for enforced charity? Like, I'm good with that. I'm okay with that. But so that's my opinion of the left.
No, Vin and is one, VINAND, and then you put a space, not an underscore, a space, and then SORI.
I think this is Tina. Ah!
Was it?
It should be. Hold on. Hello!
Hello.
Is
Tina?
this...
No, this is not Tina. This is David.
Okay, David, what's up?
All right. So you think that we have rights, right? Where do these rights come from?
Oh, God. God gave us our rights.
Sure. But why? Why would he give us rights?
Because he wanted us to rule the earth.
He wanted you to rule the earth. Just humans?
Us. Yeah, humans.
Okay.
You know the preamble to
So,
the Declaration
we
of
only
the...
have-
Hold on for a second. You know the preamble to the Declaration of Independence?
Yeah.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, endowed with certain unalienable rights given to them by their creator.
Right. So I'm going to segue into that with, we only have 10 rights. 10 stipulations, right?
Okay?
Okay. The British have 13. Germans have 29. Belgians have 25. Swedes only have 6. Some people have no rights at all.
Okay?
What's the difference with that?
What do you mean? What do you mean, what's
So,
the deal with that?
Like, okay, why would God give different people different numbers of different rights?
Well, I don't think
And
that...
why isn't slavery not, you know what I mean? Why would slavery be okay? That's not a God-given right to not have slavery.
Who said slavery was okay?
Nobody, that's the point.
I'm not understanding your question, brother.
Oh, God. Okay, I guess just because I'm kind of worked up here. Slavery happened, right? And it was never said in the Bill of Rights that slavery shouldn't happen.
Okay?
It's right for some human to take another human and make him do his burdens.
Okay?
Okay, why isn't that one? You know, why isn't not murdering people one? Why is that we can tell women what to do with their babies? Their bodies, all this. It just...
Well, what I would say about slavery in regard to the framers of the Constitution was that they were living inconsistent with the preamble to the Declaration of Independence, and that we self-corrected that.
We self-correct, but it's not in the Bill of Rights right now.
Yeah,
And
but
there's
it's,
still slavery going on all over the world.
well, yeah, we're talking about America, though. I think in the
Yeah,
Western...
including in this country, the prison system has slavery every day.
Well, I agree with that, but all you're pointing out is people being inconsistent with the preamble to the Declaration of Independence.
No, that's not all I'm pointing out. I'm pointing out that slavery happens every day. It happens in this country and other countries, and also healthcare should be a human right. If we did have human rights, which we ideally do have, but they're all just make-believe, like the boogeyman, you know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean.
It's something we made up.
No, I don't think it's something we made up.
For sure.
I think if you say that human rights are something that we made up, it leads to very dangerous eventualities.
Like what?
Like if I become in power and I decide that I'm gonna do X to X group of people, and somebody says, "Hey, these guys have basic human rights," I can say, "Ah, man, you just made that up like the boogeyman. I'm gonna do whatever I want."
Well, that's exactly what they did.
Well, yeah, but you
The
had
way to keep
abolition.
people in control is to give them some sort of idea that they have. Oh, it's okay. We could trust these people because they give us rights.
No.
For example, a bunch of slave owners. All men are created equal.
Well, yeah, that's my point. My point is they wrote within the Declaration of Independence the destruction of that entire economic system because people began to hold people accountable to living consistent with that declaration. That's the entire point of the abolitionist movement or the civil rights movement in the 60s or the pro-life movement now.
Agree, but then they amend these rights to try to placate to that and try to end it over and over and over again. Look, I am so for you guys. You know what I mean? Your race of people. I think that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that people have worked off the backs of other people since we've existed. I think the first caveman looked at one caveman and said, "Your rock's cooler than mine. I want it." How to, instead of beating him to death, he used his mind to trick him into getting it. And that's where I think our rights come from. That's where I think all this comes from. Is one human's ability to use his mind over another human being.
Okay. I've got a caller that's been waiting in line. If you have another idea, let me know, because I'm about to talk to Tina now.
All right.
Much love, buddy.
Bye. Okay, Tina. It's your turn.
Call back, Tina. John Locke was a complete hypocrite.
Who's John Locke?
He explicitly wrote the Constitution of Canada to support slavery.
Vin looks badass. Reminds me of someone famous, but I can't put my finger on it. That's
okay,
right.
Julie, Tina's on. You'll be up next, Julie. It's ladies' night at Vin and Sori. Don't tell Majestic Demon Lord I said that. Tina!
Hey.
Tina is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Talk to me, Tina.
Long time no talk.
I know. I feel like I feel empty inside, Tina. Why you been ignoring me?
I'm not ignoring you. I've sent you lots of emails.
Yeah.
I've had sent you lots of
Tina sent us an email?
messages to both of you, and I've had nothing responded to, really.
Well,
You've been busy.
we've been gone, but Tina's been too busy setting stuff up for other people, being nice to other villagers.
Okay, Tina, talk to me.
Well, look, I have a major problem with some things going on here. And we've talked about this briefly before, and I want to talk about it again, because, look, as I've said to you before, I think abortion is a horrible thing for any woman to have to go through. But my problem is, and my question is to you, is what would you, if Roe versus Wade got struck down tomorrow, what would you replace it with? What would you do? This is my main problem with the pro-life movement, is that no one has been able to answer that question or even attempted to. And I feel that the only way that abortion will ever be gotten rid of as a thing of the past is until we change our society and the way we handle things.
Well, one thing I would do is I would make adoption as easy to happen as abortion.
Yeah, and it's cheap.
And it's cheap. The way that, I don't know if you've ever tried to adopt a child, but the way that the system is set up, it makes it an arduous, long, very expensive, tiring process to people who actually want to adopt children. It's insane.
Well, I can understand that, which is why a lot of Americans adopt from overseas countries.
It's true. You're absolutely right. So one of the things that I would do.
My point is that the moral argument isn't working on its own, because if it did, there would be no need for Roe versus Wade. Right?
Well, no,
just recently there were reports in Argentina of mass rioting by women because the Pope refused to make abortion legal. Now, my point of view is that the highest killer in Argentina right now is pregnant women is illegal abortion.
Well,
right? So what do you do if these women are dying for the sake of supporting abortion, supporting anti-abortion, and that women are still dying? Like I said to you before, abortion is like the invention of the atomic bomb. Once you go through that door, you can never go back unless you make a conscious decision as a nation to go back.
How many A-bombs have we dropped since Nagasaki and Hiroshima?
None that I know of.
Okay. So, I mean, to go with your analogy, we looked at the destruction that it brought and said we should never do that again.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've killed more people with abortion than we have with Hiroshima and Nagasaki 50 times over.
Yeah.
So I think we should look at all those dead bodies and say we should never use this again.
We should, but just to say, my point is that there is not enough being done to discuss, and this ties in with what Demon Hunter was talking about, and his whole attitude kind of like really riled me up, and this seems to be the thing that because I earn more money, I should be entitled to better things.
Yeah.
Healthcare to me should not be a privilege. It should not be based on what you pay or how much you earn. It should be based on providing fair and equal to everybody.
It should, in my opinion, tell me if you agree with this, it should be based on a scale of need. In other words, if you have a heart condition that if you don't get it fixed, you're going to die tomorrow, then that should be prioritized, universally.
I agree with that. I think, there are many things that we've just accepted as this is the only way and this is how it is and we can't do anything about it. And I think it's time that we actually started to say, hang on a minute, maybe we can do something about it. I think as a society, we're advanced enough where we can look at some of the Western European countries and what they've done and take what works for us and make it into our own. We're supposed to be an innovative country. And right now, all the innovation seems to going towards making money for other people. And nothing in this country will ever change, bottom line, till profit stops coming before people. And that's what this country was founded on.
Well, yeah, I'm very uncomfortable with monetizing life-saving. I don't want to say monetizing because the guy's got to make a living, but basically the people with certain economic strata have access to life-saving procedures, medicine, etc., while a poor person, hey, you're shit out of luck. And I just don't understand how...
Exactly. You don't have to tell me. I work a job where I get no health insurance.
How is that even legal?
It's legal. This is the part of the problem that it's all everything is interconnected. This is the problem. People are trying to come up with simple solutions for something that's interconnected, that's been built on over time, over long periods of time, and we just accepted this is the way. I mean, our whole infrastructure is collapsing under its own weight. But nothing will change until profit stops coming before people. Right? What makes America strong isn't its money, it isn't its military, it isn't its whatever, it's its people. And one thing that we need to recognize is that no matter what ethnic origin or gender identity or sexual identity you identify with, the one common thing is we are Americans.
What did you think of the race between... What did you think of Bernie?
I loved Bernie. And in fact, I actually thought God was on Bernie's side. Because, for me, what spoke to me was, remember when that he was giving that speech and that little bird came and landed?
Yeah.
That was the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
The thing is, despite what people say about Barack Obama and despite, his obvious, faults and flaws and everything like that, I think he was a good president in trying to bring America into the 21st century and give its people something. I mean, this country needs some love. I think it was Jeff Bridges that once said, the only way America is going to get help is if America invades America. Because we have a past history of helping other countries and cultures. I mean, after the World War II, we spent a lot of money in Europe, rebuilding Europe. I mean, look at what happened in Italy in 1947, one of the first countries to give equal rights to women. And I think that there's lots of things in this country that have been neglected over time, and everything has become about short-term profit, making rich people richer, and, this whole thing about, entitlements. They're not entitlements so I'm paying fucking taxes on it. It's what I've earned. If I'm paying taxes, I should be entitled to what my portion of it. That's what my taxes are going towards.
Well, it's hypocritical for people. It's hypocritical for multimillionaires who get ridiculous bailouts like what happened when the economy basically collapsed on itself a couple years back around 2009. These guys were getting ridiculously large bailouts because the economy, they basically, have us by the whatever. It's ridiculous for them to then say that a normal average person who just wants basic health care, now all of a sudden it's because we're entitled. Well, what the hell were you when we were giving you billions of freaking of my dollars, by the way, and your dollars, Tina, I'm sure.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. This is what I've always said about, and again, this is links in with the whole abortion issue for me. It's not about human life, the sanctity of human life. It's about control, right? Corporations want control. Right? We are. If you look at us, gradually especially over the last 10, 15 years, human beings have been reduced to commodities. Public education is being dumbed down to suit what corporations want. The public education system in this country is severely lacking. I mean, fucking hell, we've got teachers' organizations here in Texas that want to produce books, textbooks that say Moses is one of the founding fathers. I mean, this country is not opening up and broadening and growing. It's in the process of closing down and becoming very hostile.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Did you ever see the movie Capitalism, A Love Story by Michael Moore?
No, but I'll probably...
No, it's a liberal film, right? There's going to people say, you say liberal, and to be fair, that's true. But if you're a concerned American, regardless of what political persuasion you care about this country, there are some things in that movie that you need to see. Right? And this the whole thing about this country is that it, as good as it is, we will never ever get past this point until we stop putting profit before people.
Do you think, Tina? I'm sorry, but I got to take another caller. But I wanted your question because you, if you don't mind me sharing, people probably know was not born in America, but you came here.
Yes.
Do you think that Americans?
Sorry.
Do you think that Americans kind of hold capitalism as a kind of a sacred cow?
Yes.
Without really thinking through the ramifications of what it actually means?
Actually, no, because it's not just that. We have in Britain, we have the Conservative Party, the Tory, that kind of are Britain's version of the Republicans.
Okay.
I think the basic idea of capitalism is a good idea, but what's happened over the years, it just feels machine-like. The whole everything this country seems to be speeded up. Everything is more intense, and capitalism has become very cannibalistic.
Yeah, I this is something I'd want people to consider. Like, the term cannibalistic is extremely provocative, but isn't... I want to push this out to somebody because it's definitely a provocative idea. Isn't capitalism, by definition, a cannibalistic system of economics? And if you say it's not, call in, because I'd like to hear. But that's kind of my challenge, because I think that's a really provocative term, and I'd like to hear someone respond to that. Because that's a really good argument. What are your final thoughts, Tina?
I just wish that, like, this is going to sound very hippie and stupid, but given the nature of how people are today when it comes to political opinion and stuff like that, because people want to rather believe in what they believe and feel rather than believe in facts. And the fact is that people talk about Donald Trump being God sent. Well, what if he's God sent to wake us, the rest of us Americans, up,
or to punish us,
to look out for each other a lot more than what we're doing? One of the things my ex-wife told me, because I was I was dating my ex-wife when 9/11 happened. I was in Britain. She was back here in Austin, and she said for the first couple of days after 9/11, people actually looked at each other, treated each other with kindness and respect and a bit of compassion. But she said after a few days after that, everyone just went back to being the same way the way it was. What does it take for us to wake up and realize that we need each other as a nation? We have to look out for each other, and it's not about I've got mine and screw you, because it's not working. It's not sustainable. People are being eaten up. working people have less and less basic human right conditions that take us back to the 18th and 19th century. Like take for example the fires that started in the clothing manufacturing district in New York that killed 165 women. The start of like reducing working hours instead of like 14, 15 hours a day every day. You had basic treat people like with humanity and kindness. The weekends came in. It was people who claimed that unions are no good. Well, they forget that it was unions that gave us the weekends. Otherwise, I mean, it recently in Scott Walker's state in Wisconsin, they voted some time ago that workers did not have to necessarily have 2 days off. The right to work law that is pervasive in many states, especially states here in the South. It's become, everything has become loaded towards employers. And the thing is, they talk about trickle-down system. Trickle-down system isn't working because it's only about feeding the rich. And with the latest round of tax cuts that Donald Trump has given rich people, us ordinary Americans are bent over, and taking it up the ass. And I just don't understand how people can be down with this. People have become very judgmental, very cold, I feel, in some ways, and it always makes my heart feel glad when you see people willing to help out. Americans, when they get into trouble, in situations and difficulties, they help each other out like very few people do, and they care for each other in the situations. It seems a shame that we have to take this hurt to maybe realize that, we are our own power, our own entity, the American people. It's not about government. It's not about systems. It's not how big or how small. See, everyone talks about how the big government, small government. What about having the right-sized government to run this country properly, where people can be taken care of so that they can lead their lives and pursue their American dreams? It's not about, I'm not against capitalism in the sense of people, being rich. I'm not against people, earning lots of money for their talents or whatever. It's not about that. I'm talking about just being fair. And there's attacks on socialism by many Americans who don't really know what socialism is about, because you end up breeding revolution. You end up breeding, look what happened in France. Look what happened in Russia. And this country seems to be headlonging down the way where, rich people had all the power, ordinary people were just there for their benefits. And it just seems to be we're returning in many ways back to how it was in the 18th and 19th centuries. That happened a lot in Britain. My country is full of that. But ordinary people sort of with one voice. And I just, we've got so many different voices saying so many different things, putting in so many different directions, that we seem to have lost sight that we are all Americans and that we should all be working for the common good of ourselves and not, trying to go out and take over other countries and cause wars unnecessarily just for the benefit of corporations.
Awesome, Tina. Thanks. I got other callers. I'll see you soon.
Thank you for your time.
Tina Banks, ladies and gentlemen. My friend.
Bye, Tina.
All right, so making a phone call. Breaking the law. What's this going on? What's going on here, babe?
Oh, just talking about because I said to Dirk that the baby has value because God gave that value to the baby from the moment that it was conceived in the womb.
Uh-huh.
And then Dirk was saying that's not logical because if God doesn't exist, then none of that even means anything. And then so now we're on a big discussion where people are saying, but I'm not like you. I don't talk down into the thing. In my opinion, I just think that it's I can't even understand, you think an explosion. I don't understand people believing that an explosion brought all of this complexity into our world. So that's why I was asking Ron. I said, have you ever studied science? Because I don't understand, even if you look at the smallest of things, how you can study that and know that and still think that, no, an explosion happened and all of this just magically appeared. I don't understand it.
I talked to Ron, and we talked about the origin of life, and he basically said, I don't talk about that because I don't know. Well, yeah. Okay. I have... Who do I have on the line? Julie, can you talk?
Hi, Julie.
Can you talk a little bit louder, sister? Okay, now, Julie.
Yes.
I'm going to read you something, okay? And then I'm going to source it, and then we're going to have our discussion, okay?
Okay, hold on. Julie, it's hard to hear you. Is there any way that you can make yourself louder?
Is this a little bit better?
That's a little bit better. Yep. Maybe
think-
it's positioning your mouth closer to the microphone on your phone.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
that's better.
Give me a hard time.
Yeah, no, that's better there. Now people will be able to hear it.
That's perfect. If you want the website, it's princeton.edu. But I'm going to quote. This is Langman in the month of January, Medical Embryology, 3rd edition in Baltimore, Williams and Wilkins, 1975, page 3, says as follows. The development of a human being begins with fertilization, a process by which two highly specialized cells, the spermatozoon from the male and the oocyte from the female, unite to give rise to a new and living organism called a zygote. Okay, so this is a person. This is an embryologist. This is what he does for work, and he says that human life begins at fertilization. Now,
I still say that that's subjective because, in all honesty, it's parasitic up until the point that the fetus can survive outside of the womb.
okay, so you're saying that this doctor doesn't know what he's talking about.
No, he knows what he's talking about. You get the two cells and you put them together and you create something new, but it is not something that can live outside of the womb. It is a parasite up until the point that it can be viable outside of the womb, which means it's no different than a tumor.
What species is the parasite?
A parasite can be any species. I mean, a
Right,
tumor
but
is a parasite, and that is part of human biology. It's also part of rat biology. It's part of any kind of living biology.
Is
The
a
point
tumor is a tumor an organism? Is it classified as an organism by scientists?
I would actually have to look that one up. Having
Spoiler.
had tumors before, I know that it is something that is considered a growth.
Spoiler.
And a embryo is the same thing. It's a growth.
No. Scientists actually make pains to make a distinction between a tumor and an organism. So what this embryologist stated is that he's saying, and there's tons of I could read for hours. What I'm trying to explain to y'all is there's no debate in the scientific community about this. Like, can you source me a doctor that has a contrary opinion to what I just read?
I would have to look that up, but give me 1 second here.
Somebody said Maynard was overrated.
That's because somebody said Maynard's a god. That Maynard is God.
Well, he's not God, but she's not overrated. He's not overrated.
No, I totally agree.
That's ridiculous. Overrated how?
Everybody keeps saying I look like I'm ready for bed. I am tired and my back is hurting.
Julie, do you have kids parasitic?
Julie, people
You what?
keep asking if you have kids.
I actually have 4.
She has 4.
One of which was conceived from a rape.
Oh my God.
So I've been in the position that y'all talked about, and I still believe that it's a woman's right to make that choice. I don't believe that anybody else has the right to tell a woman what she can or cannot do with her body.
Well, I'm not talking about what she can and can't do with her body. What I'm talking about is the body that's inside of her.
It's not, if it's not viable, I don't consider it alive.
Yeah, but what you're talking about is subjective, right? That's your opinion. What I'm trying to traffic in is actual facts. So factually speaking, scientifically speaking, a zygote is a living organism. It's a
The
living.
cells are living.
No. It's a separate organism, meaning it has its own DNA. It behaves like a separate living being. That's the definition of an organism. So it's not the woman's body. Like, for example, if at conception it's a male, right?
No. Sex doesn't come into it until much later on in the developmental stage, but I do agree that it is two cells that create a living organism. However, I do not believe that that living organism has any rights that overrule the right of the one that is hosting it.
Well,
Julie, hold on. Julie, if sex doesn't come into it till later, then how can you take a test from Walmart that can determine when you're more likely to have a male or a female? I know I have friends who have gotten male or female babies because they took these tests.
I don't even buy that.
That's okay. Chromosomally speaking, right? I'm just going at that level. How late in conception do you think that a woman should be able to have an abortion?
I wouldn't put it past 12 to 16 weeks.
Okay, so you're saying at week 14 that we wouldn't know whether or not the child was male or female?
I think the earliest that I was able to find out with mine was between 16 and 20.
So at 16 weeks, isn't the child still a parasite at that point?
It's not viable outside of the body, so yes, it's still parasitic.
Okay, so shouldn't we be able to kill that child at 20 weeks if it's parasitic?
Babies born at 20 weeks can survive. It takes a lot of medical intervention, but they can survive.
What is it? Who determines that? So because you're of the opinion that it's possible the child may survive ex utero, that means we shouldn't be able to kill him?
I don't agree with anything past 16 weeks, personally.
Yeah, but
I also say that anything before 16 weeks.
So at 16 weeks, it's no longer the woman's body?
At 16 weeks, I believe you've had time to make the decision at that point. And if you have not made that decision at that point, then at that point you should have to carry.
But that's not my question. My question is it no longer the woman's body after 16 weeks?
It's always the woman's body.
Okay, so then you're saying that you're going to tell a woman what to do with her own body just because she waited 16 weeks? Who are you to say that?
Personally, I would never tell anyone.
Okay,
but
so
the
then
law is going to make a decision. Government is never going to say, hey, kill them all the way up until 9 months. They're never going to say that.
Well, you're wrong. You're wrong. We've done that in this country.
Okay, repeat that.
We've done that in this country.
And that's a fallacy right there. The only time they have done abortions up at the point of 9 months is when it literally has been either the baby's going to die, the mother's going to die, both are going to die. That has actually been factually proven.
Okay, source me that.
Find that one.
What I need to know from you is, when does it stop becoming the woman's body?
It's always the woman's body.
Right up to the 9 month?
Exactly.
So up to the 9th month, it's a woman's body.
I hate to tell you this, but a doctor may not be willing to do the abortion, but a woman can make herself abort clear up until the day before she gives birth.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm aware of that. So what you're saying is, right up, and you know, Hillary Clinton was on record saying that the child has no rights even the day before it's born. What you're
People keep asking if Julie's a doctor.
Julie, are you a doctor? People are asking.
No, I'm not.
Okay. No, she's not a doctor. But what you're saying is that it's the woman's body, the child in her womb, even up to the 9th month, is the woman's body.
It's always the woman's body.
Okay. So isn't it true that if the child in her womb up to the 9th month is a male, that he would have a penis?
At whatever point that it actually forms, yes.
Okay, is a penis part of female anatomy?
It is not. However, the point of the fact is that an embryo, a fetus, does not have rights. It is not technically a being until it is born.
Oh, so it's not a being until it's born. Okay. So it's the woman's body, even if it has a penis, and women don't have penises, it's still a woman's body. It's not a separate being at all until it's born. Then, when it crosses the birth canal, all of a sudden, all these rights get bestowed upon him. And that's pretty much the argument.
It is a parasitic relationship up until the moment that the child is born.
Isn't the child basically parasitic after he's born too? I mean, isn't he just taking and giving nothing?
I don't consider it that way after they're born.
Well, would you call someone crazy? Like if there is a 16-year-old kid that said, this baby, all it does is suck me dry and whine when he's wet. He contributes nothing to the household. He's a complete parasite. Wouldn't she have an argument? I mean, isn't the child still parasitic ex utero?
No, because there are things that, even if a woman was to carry to term and give birth and give up for adoption, it is still the simple fact that there is something there being given to someone that makes it not a parasitic relationship at that point. A mother looks at her child. Once the child is born and separate from her, it's no longer a parasitic relationship. She loves the child. The child, in turn, loves her, eventually grows up, and hopefully by the time the mother is old and ready to retire, the child will then take care of the mother in the cycle as it is supposed to be.
Okay, but hold on.
Parasitic relationship once the child is born. When the child is still in utero, the only way it can survive is via the nutrients coming through the umbilical cord.
Isn't it true that let me say back to you what I think you said. When the child is born and it's like, hey, the doctor says, here's your bundle of joy, and the woman looks at the child and says, shit, this was all worth it. I love you. And the kid looks at the mom and says, goo goo gaga, and they've made that connection. Then the relationship changes from parasitic to parent-child. Is that pretty much what you're saying?
Okay.
Do you agree with that? Is that pretty much what you were saying?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. Well, but you do know that there are times when the mother looks at the child and says, doesn't feel that affection at all, and then strangles him and throws him in a dumpster. You also know that that's true. And the mother what if the mother still considers that child to be parasitic and then strangles and kills it? What should happen with her?
At that point, you need to actually start, with hope, after the child is born, short of postpartum and I'm trying to think what the other one was called. There was a postpartum psychotic disease. But
yeah.
Short of mental illness stepping in, you shouldn't have someone looking at their child saying, oh, you're a parasite, even though you're outside of my body. At that point, it should be looked at as, this is my child. This is a living, breathing being.
Well, don't you think it would be hard for a young lady to consider the child a parasite up to the 9th month and then pivot somehow and say this is now somebody who is worthy of living, considering the child is still basically extremely parasitic because all they can do is take from the mother? So if she's been trained to think that she's been holding a parasite inside of her for 9 months, do you really think it's realistic to now have her pivot and say, oh, actually, this is a human being I should take care of?
It's not a matter of being trained to think that it's a parasite. It literally is a parasitic relationship up until birth. At the point that the child is born and the umbilical cord is cut, it is no longer a parasitic relationship because the child is now capable of receiving its nutrition via either the breast or a bottle via the birth mother or an adopted parent. At that point, assuming that, of course, the mother doesn't have the postpartum problems that cause you not to have the hormones that come out when you give birth, it's not that hard to understand.
Have you found a doctor? Have you found a doctor yet that disagrees with the quote that I said and said that it's not a living organism, it's a parasite?
I'm actually got sidetracked looking up the partial birth thing, and I'm looking on this one here. Doctors who disagree.
Jeff said, so when a woman miscarries and cries, she shouldn't, because it's just a parasite.
So when a woman miscarries, she shouldn't really feel bad about it because it's like squashing a mosquito, basically. It's just a parasite.
If you wanted to be pregnant and you find out you're pregnant and you miscarry, then yes, you're going to be upset because the final stage of having a child in your arms did not come to pass. Simple fact of that matter is more women miscarry and never know that they were pregnant. They miscarry before it ever has a chance to implant. So, I mean...
Here is T.W. Sadler, Langman's Medical Embryology, 7th edition, Baltimore. Williams and Wilkins, 1995, page 3. The development of a human being begins with fertilization, a process by which the spermatozoon from the male and the oocyte from the female unite to give rise to a new organism, the zygote. So that's the quote that I gave you. They just updated the edition from 75 to 1995. Are you saying that there is some new science that now explains to us that that's not the case?
Give me 1 second. I'm actually looking this up here. The problem is that you've got so much mixed in. I'm almost willing to bet that, let's see, the doctors that are saying that it begins at conception are also ones that are claiming Christianity as their religion.
It's completely untrue. It's just plain science. Zygote. This cell, formed by the union of an ovum and a sperm, zygotes, meaning yoked together, represents the beginning of a human being. The common expression fertilized ovum refers to the zygote. Keith L. Moore, Before We Were Born, Essentials of Embryology and Birth Defects, 4th edition, Philadelphia, Saunders Company, 1993, page 1. Okay. Thank you. I will say I've heard the parasite thing before, but I've never heard it carried out to the extent that you did. So thank you for sharing that. How did you find the channel, by the way, before you go, if you don't mind me asking?
I actually was watching your reactions to Ghost.
Ah, I see. Sori's a big Ghost fan. Are you a Ghost fan?
I am definitely a big Ghost fan.
Which one's your favorite?
Oh, goose. Pinnacle to the Pit.
Oh, I haven't heard that one yet.
Wait, is that a song?
I definitely recommend listening to it.
Is that a song?
Yes, From the Pinnacle to the Pit.
Okay. Thank you very much,
You guys
Julie.
have a good night.
Good night.
Much love.
Bye.
Hey, Juice's Ghosts, we've already done rats. Commander Marduk, one more of those and you gotta go, my guy. Julie shared some really, really personal stuff that I thought was very brave of her to do, so we're not doing that. Brendan Shea, what's up, my brother? What?
Just when stuff like is a fail, it always makes me feel like laughing.
Okay, somebody call me up with something nice to talk about.
Michael, you said that I was going to sneeze in the next 9 minutes. You were off by like a half an hour. And the last time you said I was going to sneeze in 7 minutes, and you were completely wrong then, too. I don't know what magic you're dabbling into, but it's off.
Hola. Hello.
Hello?
Who am I talking to? This is a comedy of errors right now. Who am I talking to?
You call us through Skype.
This is
Look us
Tyler.
Who?
This is Tyler.
Okay, Tyler, what's up, brother?
Hey, I've been I recently discovered your channel.
Awesome.
Hello? Sorry, it's hard to hear you.
Okay.
And it's more of a question of spirituality, I guess. Maybe this is not the right time to call. I don't know.
What's the question?
Well, oh shit. I gotta go, sorry. I'll call you another time.
Okay, brother.
Sorry.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Somebody have anything positive to talk about?
Here we go.
Here we go. Hello, who am I talking to?
Vin, it's Steve.
Hey, my guy. What's up, big guy?
What's up?
Hi.
That was the day I didn't think I'd get through. Hi, Story.
What's going on?
So, I wanted to talk more about your socialistic stance on healthcare. I don't know if I missed all that, but I had a comment for your previous caller about the whole parasitic thing.
Okay. Hey,
I
hold,
thought
hold on.
Somebody brought it up. Okay, go ahead.
Just be nice.
I will be nice.
Okay.
Ish. No.
No, you
Okay,
can disagree,
my
but
question was, and I
you
saw
know.
somebody else bring it up in the comments, is if a fetus or is a parasite, then why can you be charged with fetal homicide if you injure a pregnant woman and they end up losing the child? Like, it's kind of a contradictory law.
I agree. I didn't really think of that at the time, but I do think that that's interesting. That's a very good point. Talk to me about why I'm wrong on socialism.
Okay, so the healthcare thing, I mean...
Let me ask you... I'm sorry to interrupt you. Let me ask you, is healthcare a human right?
Healthcare and human rights, that's what I want to touch on, not socialism in general.
Okay.
Okay, so healthcare. It takes an exuberant amount of time, energy, knowledge, willpower, discipline. I mean, we can go into, there's a lot of self-sacrifice that goes into being a medical professional. Yes or no?
100% true.
Right. So if you expend that much of yourself into a field, into something, whether it be music or the medical field, do people have a right to your time, your life, your discipline, your hard work?
Do you think the analogy between life-saving heart surgery and a good band is an equivalent analogy?
Yes, because it still takes the same amount of effort to do. I mean, effort is effort. Life expenditure is life expenditure. Knowledge is knowledge. It doesn't matter what field it's in. It's just one. One is entertainment. One is
the end of a person's life. Like I don't see how you could say that those are equivalent. One is I don't get to see the corn show. That sucks. I'd be heartbroken. The other is my son would die. Like those are equivalent to you?
The result of the product, no.
Okay.
The effort the individual puts in to accomplish that, yes. Okay, so
you can bring your wife on the line. That's okay, because I got my wife on the line, so we could double up. We could tag team.
No, she's yelling at me from the side. No, but okay. So another example would be going with basic needs, food, right? Farmers have. I mean, there's a lot that goes into farming and growing and all the stuff that goes into producing the food that you run to the market for, buy, and shove in your fridge. Should we just have a right to that? Should we just be able to go and take it and because we need it to live?
Well, we do have food stamps, right? I mean, we don't let anyone starve to death in our country.
Yeah, but I have issue with that as well. So,
would you be cool with letting a person starve to death in America?
Would I be cool with it? No, but that's a personal conviction. I don't think that needs to be a mandated law. That's where I'm coming from. Is the imposition on somebody to take what they have and redistribute, not necessarily based on what they're told their needs are, not what they perceive their own needs to be.
Well, I think that last nuance right there, I think is relevant. That's true. Because on the one, you know what I wish this healthcare reform was in the hands of Republicans. Like I wish socialized medicine was in the hands of Republicans, because I feel like leftists are going to use that for cosmetic surgery and all that shit. What I'm talking about is you're gonna die if you don't have this, or you're in serious medical condition, and now we're gonna indebt you to the 5th generation because you're poor, or you're not gonna have access to, like, you've got kids, right?
I do.
Like, if for some terrible, let's say that I don't know, there's a terrorist attack tomorrow, and then you become paralyzed, and you can't work. Like,
sure,
the state shouldn't come and compensate and help?
No. Well, twofold why I say no. One is I would assume, I mean, this is more my judgment than his actual fact, that any cognitive adult with any kind of sense of responsibility would plan for the future. Like, that's part of growing up, and I think that's a missing element in today's society, the idea that everybody needs to take care of me so I don't have to take care of myself. Like, I plan for that. I have insurance that pays for that. I pay of my own accord to make sure that if that scenario happens, the people I care about are taken care of. I do not pay for insurance, so the neighbor's kids, should that happen, get their medical treatment, because I don't believe that's my responsibility. Now, if I want to go to a charity, or if I want to go to their door and hand them a gift, based on their situation, because I have that volition and capability, then I think that's charitable, and that's a choice. But it's not mandated at that point. It's not required.
So if a person doesn't have the foresight that you have, and didn't have insurance, and they're living check to check for whatever reason, and they end up in that situation, and nobody steps up for charity, then they're shit out of luck.
Yes, and my chick here wants to give you a real life example. So
okay.
She is.
Hey, so my husband, or father of my children, died from cancer, and while he was sick, though, we received disability and state insurance, so we were well taken care of. It's a thing. Like, there's resources. People just don't look.
Okay, so I'm with that, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah.
I'm with that, but isn't disability and state insurance a form of socialism? That's not pure capitalism.
No, you're taxed and you pay for it. I mean, of your own. It comes out of your own earnings.
It was based on his income while he was well.
Wait, so was this state-funded disability, or was this his own, he paid into it?
It was a little bit of both, and it still is a little bit of both.
Okay, so it wasn't pure capitalism then. It was a mixture of capitalism and socialism.
Right. I believe there's a balance.
We don't share the same view wholeheartedly.
Right. We disagree, him and I.
Okay, so
I think there's a balance.
I think me and Sori are with you that there has to be a combination of capitalism and socialism, because there's got to be an element of responsibility. If you give pure socialism, then you take away the engine in a person to be responsible. But I also think there needs to be an element of socialism in there, because we've got to account for human selfishness. I don't think that if a person comes down with a horrible disease like cancer, that it's moral to tell them, hey man, you're on your own. You and your wife. How many kids did you have with him at the time?
We had 5.
God,
oh my gosh.
So you and your 5 kids, you guys are shit out of luck. You're on your own. I think the combination of he put aside a little bit, right? And then all of us kind of were taxed to help. I think that that's the way to go. I don't think that pure capitalism is right. Now, Steve, what you're saying is you think that that's wrong? He should have just been left to himself?
Yes. That sounds terrible, but I mean, again, same example. I take care of those 5 kids now. I go to work. I bring home a paycheck. They are well taken care of because I chose to.
Yeah, my brother, but
nobody held a gun to my head saying, hey, take these kids in and take care of them. And I've had them for almost 6 years.
Yeah,
and,
but Steve, Steve, you have to get Miss De Herrera. I don't even know what to say because I'm going to get in trouble here.
It's Mary.
Mary.
Yes.
Steve is now. I'm not going to ask Steve this because he's going to be all weird.
I can't hear in there.
Come on, just come in. Hold on a second.
Oh, this is Steve? De Herrera?
This is Steve.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just realized it. Oh, wow. I'm very excited you're on the phone.
Hey, listen. Mary.
Okay. Yes.
Now, I'm going to make a statement, sister. You tell me if it's true or false.
Okay.
Steve is a particularly big-hearted, generous individual.
Yes. Very true. No, wait. He won't admit it. This is something you have to find in him because he hates admitting it. Like he's mad at me right now.
See, that's why I asked you, Mary, because I knew.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's probably one of the most unique people you've ever met in your life. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yes.
So that Steve, you cannot use yourself as the example. You're the exception. You're not the rule. Stop it.
I'm not the exception.
You are the exception.
That goes into the conversation I wanted to have with you about human value, but I mean, I don't think we have time for that today. I don't think I am the exception at all.
Oh yeah, so dude just randomly, hey Mary, did you know this? That you could just walk down the street and a dude will randomly love you and take in your 5 kids as his very own? That shit happens every day.
Honest to goodness.
When I first met him, he was like, you have 5 kids? Oh no, fuck no. Like he was like running away. And it was fine. I was like, of course not. Who's gonna take in 5 freaking kids?
He's on some gangster shit. He's like, nah.
Yeah, he was like, no way.
I don't like kids.
I don't like kids.
They're parasites.
Oh God. Yeah, but then.
If more people were like you, Steve, I do not believe we would have the amount of abortions we have.
Well, we wouldn't have the conversation if everybody was like Steve. We wouldn't have the abortions, and we wouldn't need the socialized medicine. It'd be all taken care of. The problem, Steve, is that you're the exception and not the rule, my guy.
I don't see it that way, so I'm not arguing from the stance of the exception. And maybe myself was a bad example, but
maybe.
But back to the topic.
My guy, okay, listen to any rapper, okay? And their biological dads didn't even have the decency to stay in the home with them. Biological dads. And here you are, the non-bio dad taking in 5 kids. Come on, bruh.
Yeah, right?
How many rappers you hear like, yeah, shout out to my dad who took me and my mom and my 4 brothers in? The fuck fuck is wrong with you? You're delusional.
I'm delusional.
Steve.
No, I mean, I'm trying to argue from the sense of responsibility here. I mean, like,
my guy.
there are core values, I guess, that I grew up with that I think should be part of everybody's upbringing. And when you want to talk about, you know, people leaving the home, I think the deeper issue isn't, you know, how do we pay for things? It's how do we fix the actual problem? The problem is, like, I think Tina brought up, the education system is atrocious. You have, you know, the moral value of society is garbage. You know, the whole shame is, you know, this terrible four-letter word now that nobody can experience. And I think shame is a huge catalyst for improvement. So, I mean, we have these issues in society that cause other issues, and we're attacking the symptoms and not the problem. I guess that's where I'm coming from.
Okay.
So I don't think.
Okay, I'm with you.
Go ahead.
I'm with you. I'm with you. My question is, if somebody has a compound fracture, right? That means you know what that means. I'm sure you've seen them, right?
Yeah.
The bones going through the leg.
Yeah.
That means you also have a laceration on the skin, right?
Sure.
So, but that's not the root of the issue. That's a secondary issue from the main issue, which is you've got this terribly broken bone, right?
Well, I mean, they're two separate issues, one caused by the other, but
right.
Going with your analogy, sure.
Right. The worst issue, though, is a horribly broken bone. Like, you could die. Right? Now, my point is... Huh?
Like, you would die from the laceration, the bleeding, not the bone, I wouldn't think, but go ahead. I don't want to argue semantics.
But what I'm saying is, if somebody said, shit, man, we gotta patch up that laceration. Or let's say it was vice versa. Let's say that the laceration was more dangerous than you're probably right, depending on where. But so the medic runs up to the guy goes, shit, I'm hit, blah, 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 I fell, whatever. The medic wouldn't say, well, I'm only going to take care of the laceration. I don't give a damn about the bone. Like, yes, there's symptoms to an issue or secondary issues, and then there's primary issues that cause it. What I'm saying is we got to find a system that treats both of them. And I think that, what Mary described is probably the best of all possible social situations for us, where socialism can take care of the symptom, right? And then capitalism can take care of the root issue, which is personal responsibility. But when you have a society of people, especially these millennials, man, who they all got, no, I'm serious, they all got participation trophies. These kids,
because I don't like the millennial thing.
Well, they don't know how to lose, right?
They don't know how to do a lot. Actually.
Okay, so you're going to have a whole generation of these kids, and you're going to say, well, life hasn't really hit them yet. They think that, a bad order at Starbucks is the end of the world, right? So, like, when they end up in Mary's situation, she was able to suck it up and move on, with or without you. I mean, I'm glad that she ended up with you, right? But you put one of these millennial kids in her situation, how are they going to function? And are you saying, well, tough luck, kids, figure it out?
Yes, I am. Personally, yes.
And the 5 kids, fuck them.
Well, I mean...
Like, I had to struggle.
Can I answer the question?
No, you
Can I answer? All right, so I guess the way I look at it is that is I mean, it's like any problem, it's not a surface problem. There are multiple factors that develop large scale problems like this, and I just don't think that. I mean, I don't think a handout is gonna fix anything. It's gonna perpetuate it, if anything else. Like it sucks. I mean, so let's go back to. I'll use myself as an example. Not talking about kids at all. Let's go back to just when I was a dumb kid and I didn't know how to use money. And, I bought my car for the first time and I missed like 3 payments because I had no idea how to balance a checkbook. There were ramifications to that. There were consequences. There were things that I had to learn to figure life out. Nobody just came in and gave me an extra $400 for a car payment.
Big homie, I'm not talking about your car payment. I'm talking about cancer. Or a single woman with 5 fucking kids needing some help. That's not a handout.
Right.
Put Mary back on the phone.
No, you're stuck with me, and we got conflicting ideas here.
That's why I want her on. She disagrees with your selfish ass.
Responsibility. I mean, like, if you even take that responsibility, you go back and, like, 5 kids was 2 people's choice. There was actions that happened. They didn't just pop up out of thin air. Cancer, I mean, it's shitty in what it is, but it's not like we don't know. Like, when I hear cancer awareness, I want to stab people in the throat, because who the fuck isn't aware of cancer? Like, you're not finding a cure when you say cancer awareness. Like, I get it. Women get breast cancer. No shit. Like we're spinning our wheels instead of attacking the issues. And I just So that single mom, they didn't prepare, whatever, on the street, too bad. That's life, man. Like, that's how life works.
Okay, wait. Okay, so I had to struggle a lot. I mean, a lot. He wasn't a good provider to begin with. And so when he got sick, it was scary. Like, really scary.
Wow.
And
I know you had to grind. My mom, I'm sorry, but my mom had to grind because she was a single mom with 3 kids by herself. Yeah. And so I know firsthand how hard you had to grind to get where you were. It's not like Steve came and, like, rescued you and put you in some primpy situation. You were grinding before that, right?
I was, yeah. But it was different. I mean, there were a lot of different steps I had to take. And like I said, resources that I really had to look for. Like, there's lots of people that have been in my situation and they just whine and cry like a millennial, and they don't know what to do with themselves. But there are resources out there. There's plenty of options. You just have to look. And it took a lot of hard work. And my parents, I was really blessed because my parents were really, really great. And they helped me a lot, but they didn't help me to the point where, they took over. They made me work for what I mean, sure. I was a single mom for a while and I had to work hard for it. Like, I had to make it work. Steve did help, like, hugely. I mean, we live a life now that I never imagined. But I mean, there was a level of personal responsibility along with the fact that I was in a bad situation. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm with you. And my mom, I mean, we got to the point where we were in a homeless shelter, and we stayed there for 6 months until she could stack enough to get us out of there. But Jonathan, just stay with me for a second. Jonathan, I wasn't dissing millennials, but the facts are...
I was.
The facts are, and look, it's the parents of the millennials that are really at fault. But here are the facts, Jonathan. When you have a bunch of kids who are raised getting participation trophies, that's extremely fucking dangerous. Because what it does is it tells the kids that no matter how much effort they put out, everybody's a winner. Well, here are the facts. The kid who practiced every single day at the 400 meter to win and to work his ass off, he's the real winner. The other ones who are eating bonbons and McDonald's and shit and not in shape and got a participation trophy are the losers. And the facts are, when those kids become adults, the one that was grinding the entire time, the true winner, is going to be able to be successful. Whereas the other one who got participation trophies, guess what? When it's time to hand out promotions, there is no participation promotion. Or when it's time to cut bait at the office and there has to be a 20% reduction in force, there's not going to be any participation awards for that. It's going to be the one that grinds the hardest and is the most productive that's going to be able to retain his employment. So what I'm saying, I'm not dissing millennials. All I'm saying is they're woefully underprepared to deal with the exigencies of the real world. Here's the real world. You could be a beautiful person, awesome person, 5 kids, love your husband, and then he can get struck with cancer. And you've got to figure out a way to make that shit work. And all I'm saying is, and Mary, you can jump in here because I can't speak for you. All I'm saying is, my opinion is, if Mary would have been taught her entire life that all you have to do is participate and you're a winner. I don't think that she's able to meander that situation and come out on top. Mary, what's your opinion?
No, that's the truth. I would have lost my shit. I would have gone crazy. I would have either gone crazy or been done and given up. You know, it would have been drugs. It could have been anything. You know what I mean? My parents raised me in a way to be responsible for myself. I mean, I fought against that for a long time. But it's the truth. You know, I had to stand on my own 2 feet. And if you can't learn to do that, then you're screwed. It's over. There's no point. You know what I mean?
Well, right. And so don't misinterpret this, guys. I'm passionate about this because most of the people that I manage are millennials, and I'm scared to death for them. They're not going to make it, you know? And I had to, you know, I mean, I can't get into work because that's, you know, whatever, but I'm heartbroken for these guys because they're coming into the workforce and they don't have the mentality that's going to get them to where they need to be. They just don't. And it's because we've been handing everything out to these kids, and it's heartbreaking to me. Like, I'm seeing it. Like, you know, I have to let these people go from work because they don't understand the value of personal responsibility and hard work. So it's real to me.
I think another thing, too, is that they don't understand that the choices they make have weight. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, the choices you make are going to determine, you know, how you face a situation. And they can't choose because they have never been taught to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the choice along with the responsibility and being able to balance the two and not knowing how to. They can't even navigate, you know, a normal situation because they win all this time.
It's true, and you know, again, it's. I'm not bashing. Well, I am bashing a generation, but I'm not bashing the millennial generation. I'm bashing the people that came up with the idea of participation awards.
Their parents.
Which was not the millennials.
Generation early.
It was a generation earlier, and the parents and the teachers. Because you know what? You have multiple kids. It's hard to tell one kid that the other one's better than him at something. They cry.
Yes, it is.
They feel sad. You know, my little one, you know, the one that De Herrera, you know, is kind of sweet on, even though you're supposed to be some hard motherfucker, Steve.
Right, he's so mean.
Yeah, he's so mean, but he's so, you know, you're probably like the only one that has any mercy on this kid. But like he
because I was that kid once.
Right.
I was the kid nobody had mercy on.
He tries so hard to beat his brother in football, but his brother is about 2 inches taller than him. He knows his route running. Forget it. He doesn't stand a chance. So I tell him, I'm like, look, Johan, you know, he's just better than you right now. And if you want to beat him, you got to practice 3 times as hard as him. If you don't, then you don't want it bad enough. That's life. But it's hard to hold that kid when he's crying and he's heartbroken because he's trying so hard. But I'm not. But so I'm not bashing millennials. I'm bashing the idea. It's really egalitarianism, the idea that everybody should have equal outcomes all the time, no matter what type of effort they put out. What I'm saying is that's destructive to a group of people going into a society. But Steve, I'm going to bring this back to you now, because I think
I got a question for you on that real quick.
Go ahead.
How does that differ from socialism?
Because, my brother, what I'm trying to explain to you is that the combination of capitalism and socialism that Mary so eloquently talked about, I think is the only real world solution, because we're going to have a generation of people that don't know how to handle life, man. And so we gotta find a way to give them some sort of a safety net, right? While at the same time giving them an opportunity to learn those hard lessons in their 30s and 40s, and then, you know, get to that point where they realize they have to grind for themselves. But I don't think that we can say we're not going to have any safety net whatsoever, and we're just going to let people crash and burn. I think that that's crazy.
Well, it's because you're a big softy too, Vin.
Oh, I mean, I will readily admit that. But I think, but don't you think, Steve? Don't you think that when you have massive poverty, when you don't have safety nets, that it increases the likelihood of violent crime?
I think it could, yes. I think there's data to back that up.
Okay, so isn't it also in your best interest to make sure that those people have a safety net so we don't have a massive group of poor, angry young people? Is there anything more dangerous than a group of poor, angry young people?
Is there anything more dangerous?
No, stop. There is not. You're gonna get.
I'm trying not to be. Here, I'm torn. Like I understand the logic behind it, and I get where you're coming from. It's not that I'm just stone faced. I don't agree. I understand the benefits. I have a hard time with the long term solution. I guess is how I look at it. I have a hard time with like how does this develop into something that is no longer needed as opposed to something that's taken advantage of and then gets abused.
Well, that's why I said I would love it if we had socialized medicine in the hand of the right, because they're more fiscally conservative. Mm-hmm. But the minute you say anything about socialism, they go crazy. Instead of just being rational and saying, look, all of us are dealing with some form of socialism. All of us have benefited from some form of socialism. And somebody asked a question, how is basic human compassion and empathy being soft and weak?
Well, that goes into self-preservation instincts and things like that. I mean, it's more of a I want to say machismo. That's the Hispanic word, I guess. The macho kind of mentality. So I mean, it may not be weak in the sense of frail and incapable. It's weak in the sense of posturing.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But see, like I try to be as logical as I possibly can, right? But I also have to pay attention to my emotions because my emotions are there for a good reason too, right? So it's like we're not a data processing android. That's not what a human being is. And I think emotions sometimes are there to point you to something that sometimes maybe your logical mind will miss. And I think that empathy is something when you see a mom struggling, like my mom was struggling, but see, my mom, I never really saw her break down and cry over this stuff when we were homeless and all that. She never projected that. It was always like, okay, we're going to make it. We're going to be good. But see, my mom had a medical profession. She had a medical background. She suffered with depression. So she knew that an upcycle was coming because she was bipolar. And she knew that when that upcycle was coming, she could work a ton of hours and she could be very productive and we'd get out of that situation. And that's literally what happened. She rode the wave of her bipolar and got us out of that situation. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Good for her.
I mean, she was unreal. I mean, in my opinion, everything that she went through with us eventually took her life. That's a different discussion. But we were all good by the time that happened. Like, she made sure that all of us were good by the time that happened. So, my mom is not really a good example of like the compassion thing because she never generated a ton of compassion because she was such an alpha female that nobody felt bad for her. Everybody was like, why are you here? And she'd say, none of your fucking business. We were in the shelter. And then she'd move on,
Wow.
But I think that people like my mom, people like you, Mary, are not the norm. And so when I see a single mom struggling, that empathy, you can't just say facts over feelings. I know that that's a big thing right now with, Ben Shapiro or whatever. Like, your feelings are important. Feelings are important because it's sort of the nerve center of the soul. So, if I've got my hand on a stove, I'm not going to go, oh, facts over feelings. Like, no, like, your feelings are there for a reason, right? So when our hearts are broken over a single mother in a bad situation, I think we need to pay attention to that and not just be like, well, you should have prepared better.
Well, I don't disagree. I just have a problem when it's at when it's not a choice, I guess, when I don't get the choice to have empathy, because empathy tends to leave when you're forced to do something. Having it.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, Derrera, for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a hard subject. I don't know if there's a right or wrong, and maybe there is, like all things in life. I think there is possibly a compromise. If we could ever get people in Washington to stop being fucking children, we might find that compromise. But I don't.
So did Mary and I convert you to a mixture of socialism and capitalism?
No, not
valid.
Personally, no, not at all. But I shut empathy off real easy. I don't. If your parents didn't prepare you for the real world and you fell flat on your face, sucks to be you. I mean, I don't know. I grew up kind of hard, and then I've told you this before. I was in the military. There is no participation trophies in the military. There's barely second chances in the military. So I come from a world where, you make it on your own or you don't make it.
Yeah.
And I've seen people when held to that fire, when their feet are held to that fire, when they are put in that situation, 9 times out of 10, I'd say 99 times out of 100, they make it. It's a matter of forcing them to make it. And, it's not comfortable. It's not pleasant. It isn't fun. But the outcome is worth it. And that's why you'll see documentaries or videos, when people, I use the Marines because that's what I was in, when they earn that Eagle Globe, they never say they gave you an Eagle Globe and Anchor. They always say you earned it.
Right.
Because it's fucking hard shit. I mean, it sucks. I mean, it's not a just show up and then I'm going to be here for 3 months and then, hey, they gave me this cool little thing to pin on my collar or, put on my shirt or my chest or whatever. You earn that shit. And, I mean, they give you the tools to earn it and they hold your feet to the fire to make sure that, they're doing everything they can to get you there, to get you to want it. And I think that is a very important lesson that needs to be learned. And when you just give things away, the lesson gets lost.
Gotcha. Okay, Mary, thank you so much for sharing some real personal shit in your life. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
We go to Cali. We're definitely staying at your place.
Yeah. Thank you for talking to my guy over here and convincing him of some shit that I've been struggling with. So thank you.
Good. All right. Hey, Steve, I love you, my guy. What? Are you free tomorrow?
Am I free tomorrow? I think so. Yes.
We canceled our plans tomorrow.
Yeah, we are. I'm free tomorrow.
Okay, my brother. Send me an email, dude.
Sure.
Okay. We owe so many people so many things.
I know, it's what I was thinking.
So we're just gonna grind for the next 3 days and catch up with everybody because we owe everybody a ton of shit. But I definitely want to talk to you guys for sure.
Okay, man.
All right, much love, y'all. Okay, we're done. We're done for the day. We're done for the night. We've been streaming for 3 hours. We love you guys very, very much. We're gonna watch some Orange Is the New Black, inshallah. And can you stay up for at least one episode?
I guess.
Okay. All right.
Good night, Mandy.
Chris Culp, much love. Yes, we're still selling those shirts. PayPal, Vin and Sori merch at gmail.com. $25. And we'll ship it to you.
Chris is saying he kicked your butt and would have won the first game on Madden.
Chris, you're a liar. And if you're still up in a couple hours, I'll kick your ass in Madden again. I actually messaged you on Xbox, my guy, and you never responded to me because you're scared. Okay. Shout out to Ben. Shout out to Lilo. Shout out to Dirk. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to all my callers. Boycott the NFL. That's an interesting one. Robin, shout out to Sweden. Shout out to Julie. Good night, you guys. Yes, feelings are absolutely important. We appreciate you guys so much. You have no idea. We think about you. We talk about you. We love you. That's it. We got to go. Okay? Take care of each other. All right? Don't listen to what Steve says. Follow Steve's example. Steve says that he's hard and he doesn't take care of people. But what he does with his life is he takes care of people. So everybody be like Steve. Much love, you guys. Thank you. Goodbye. That's all.